Okay, welcome back to True Footy Live, ahead of the 2024 prelim between Sydney and Port Adelaide. I have been joined by Danny McBride, who is making a guest appearance here on the True Footy YouTube channel, all the way from Perth in Australia. Busher, how are you, mate?
Yeah, quite good, mate. Quite literally in the bush at the moment, as you can probably tell with some of the background.
Yeah. Well, I hope that's not a gross sex euphemism, but it's good to have you back. It's been a little while since you were on the channel. And
buddy,
just a couple of games to go in the finals, really. Have you been keeping up with the finals and watching each game?
I've sort of kind of, in general with footy, I've kind of gone a more macro approach with it rather than micro. I'm not actually watching that much footy, but I'm sort of kind of keeping like a macro sort of observance going on, if that makes sense. A bit like micro and macroeconomics.
Yeah, exactly. What about Freo? Are you still watching every Freo game?
Yeah, I was watching every Freo game. That's probably the only game I was watching most weeks, to be fair, would be the Freo game. I haven't really watched that much else.
Yeah, fair. Well, you missed out on all the good stuff then.
I'll get back into it just in time for the Eagles to be good again. That's what will happen.
We'll just get a few in the chat. Brandon says, Star Wars, Harry Potter nerds, you've come to the right place, my friend. Horace says, can't pair. Rogie's in the chat. Lads. Everything AFL edits asks who's winning. He says, hey, Busher, we are so back. And Rogie says, Busher is back and I've never been so erect.
2 hours of it.
Yeah. We should have young Joyceberg joining us fairly soon. He's an actual adult and he's got a kid in his life. So we'll give him the time he needs. He obviously doesn't take content very seriously, Busher, does he?
No, definitely not.
Predictions. A few people asked for our tips. What do you reckon?
Oh, probably the Swannies, I guess. They fell off a bit towards the end, but on the whole, they've been a bloody good team all year, and their best's better than anyone's.
On the whole, yeah, right. I think Port have won the last 8 against Sydney. That's the variable here, and they play the SCG all right. So I feel like they might be really annoying for the Swans here. I have tipped Sydney, but I have a feeling about this game. By contrast, I don't really have a feeling about Brisbane tomorrow. I have a feeling about Port Adelaide.
Yeah, Port, they could be their year. They've sort of flirted with it a few times. They're a bit like Brizzy in a way. They've sort of gotten close a few times, but never quite gotten the deal done. Chance for both those teams to sort of get that premiership.
I thought, when they went over to Perth and beat Fremantle and looking at the back end of the year, I was like, okay, this Port team looks different. I feel like they might actually be a better version of any Port we've seen over the last few years. And then the first qualifying final happened. They lost by 84 points. So my confidence was shaken.
That's the thing. They're prone to the odd howler, if you will. But on the whole, like, their young guys have gotten more and more consistent over the last few years, where to point more often than not, they're pretty good.
Yeah, Horn Francis as well, I think, is really starting to evolve much closer into being the final product. And he's a big variable in this.
Big game player as well. These are the sort of games he's the one who gets up.
For sure.
I just hear an alarm going off in my background with me dinner. I'm just going to go check on it.
Yeah, all good. I'll get to the comments. Check on that garlic bread, my friend.
The Bavarian pork knuckle.
He says the Fox promo is going very hard. I was kind of talking through it. My bad. I do like the Fox promo or the pre-game promo. I was listening to Hunters Collectors Holy Grail yesterday, and I was like, oh man, I really miss this being part of a footy build-up. Thank you, AFL Time, for watching that video. I appreciate you saying you enjoyed it. Thanks, mate. Another one for the Fox promo was called the horny one indeed. National Anthem time. What are everyone else's predictions? Actually, let us know in the chat what your predictions are. And I have a succulent Chinese meal to add to this scenario. Joycey, how are you, mate?
Hey, bro. How you going?
Yeah, not
going on, guys.
Yeah, Bush is just checking on his Bavarian pork knuckle. He assures me that's food. So he'll be back momentarily. But other than that, we're just keen for a prelim. Who are you feeling wins?
Well, I'm feeling that Tash, mate, is what I'm feeling. I'm loving it. I got a funny feeling Port might somehow get up. I've been a bit cold on Sydney for a while, right?
Yeah,
I think I'd
I have
like
a
to see it as
lurking-
well. I think it would be more interesting if Port won.
Yeah, it's
Up nicely.
Hello, mate. That's
G'day,
what's
big
different about
fella.
you. You're closer shaved.
Yeah, the beard was bloody giving me the teeth.
Yeah.
I just shaved it off.
Yeah, it's
I'm,
good football
I'm so
analysis.
used to shaving now. Hey, as soon as I get even 5 days worth of stubble, I'm just like, oh my god, I feel like I'm a homeless person basically.
Yeah.
This
Yeah, it's
is
a bit different
probably
when you're working.
Mm. And that's a
Rogue
good
Wright
way I
says-
can.
Sorry, what?
you go. No, you go.
I was going to say, Rogie says Joyce is back to you. I'm going to need to go to the hospital because this isn't going down in 4 hours.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, God, this is getting a bit rogue.
Mate,
Tyra says all 3 of the boys should buy a wasted clothing tee. Is that how you say it? Wasted? Let us know, Tyrus. Yeah, he's starting a clothing business. Awesome.
Nice.
sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, drop the @ in the chat and people can check it out. Just getting back to the chats here. Congrats for hitting 30K. Thank you, mate. Samantha Jane, member of the channel, says Swans by 15. Rogue Ride agrees. Jack Ryan says 1 point. Brandon says Port by 1 million.
Certainly over 9,000.
Brandon says, I love my beard. I feel naked when I shave. Yeah. That's
Yeah, I was
quite an
definitely.
image. All
I
right.
can
So
understand
I haven't.
that, Brandon.
What was that?
Just saying, I agree with Brandon. Well, he said he feels naked without his beard.
Yeah.
Back when I had facial hair, I was the same when I shaved.
Yeah,
I feel naked when I drive. It's the weirdest thing. It's gone very quiet. Brandon says Port by 69. TM says who are we barracking for? I think I'm probably I'd be happy either way, but I find myself going for Sydney probably because I just want to see the team that was the best for at least a while there make the grand final, and I think they'd give a better grand final against Geelong than Port Adelaide. Personally,
That's true.
It's tough because I
What
like
do you guys?
the sort of attribute of Port Adelaide, but my auntie goes for bloody Sydney. And it was always a biotic thing with Sydney and Freo that I've been sucked into, so I might have to back them, I guess.
What about you, Joyce Berg?
Oh, geez. I don't know. I'm pretty impartial with these 2 teams, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I kind of don't want to see Geelong Sydney grand final, but I really don't want to see a Port Adelaide Geelong grand final.
Yeah, a bit of history with both those ones.
Yeah. But Port Brisbane or Sydney Brisbane would be good. They'd be good grand finals. But I think, personally, I just can't take this feeling Geelong's got it in the bag.
Really?
I think the MCG factor is the big one for me.
Imagine if they played it at GMHBA.
Yeah.
You almost think they would.
Well,
Those are
enough, I think they're almost...
play down there, so they say they could. Like, yeah, it's Brisbane. No one will give a shit. We can play it down there, like they did with Freo. They played them down there.
Yeah. Yeah, that is ridiculous. But the Cats are vulnerable at GMHBA now. I'm almost more trusting of them at the G.
I guess guys like Jez Cameron like the G.
Yeah, I mean, he used to play for them. Brandon says, damn the Brisbane disrespect. I'll be stunned if they beat Geelong tomorrow.
See, Brisbane are I think Brisbane are the best side. I know that might sound like a shot, but yeah, I really like Lions.
No, I don't. I don't disagree with that. It's weird. I believe both things at the same time, but I think Brisbane went for so long this year being the best team for a while there. Even though they'd started 2-5, they became the best team on form. So, I can't argue with that. But can they beat the Cats at the MCG? I'll be very pleasantly surprised if they get close.
It's weird though.
There's 4 teams that could do
that. Joycey.
You both spoke. Sorry, what?
Joyce, what Joyce said. think there's 4 teams.
I said for me, there's 4 teams that could win it.
Yeah. Analysis.
I like that. I was also saying Brizzy on paper probably has a much better midfield than Geelong, you'd say. Like on paper, like guys like Neil, Dunkley, these sort of dudes on paper, at least.
On paper for sure, but the stats over the last 5 weeks have them like second and third in every stat for the midfield. So, and I think Geelong was higher in at least one of them. So Geelong's midfield with Dangerfield playing more in there, I think the theory is a lot better.
I think Hoyne from Champion Data, he said there's like a common misconception out there that the Cats midfield is no good, but with Danger in there, it's actually been one of the top few for the last few weeks.
Yeah, and the man's 34 years old. And you look at his stats, and I don't think his stats are elite or anything like that, but you watch him play for Geelong, and it's a different story.
Leadership as well, I guess, as much as anything. By telling guys where to be, and he's using his body in the right way, even for other guys.
Gross. Samantha Jane says, Khan Brizzy, I want an interstate or a grand final. I think that would be nice. If Port bring their intensity from last week, it should be a cracker, says Horace of Oz. I agree with that. Absolutely. Port's intensity was really good last week. I
think
Jack
Sydney
says
Lions,
Port Adelaide grand final would be the most interesting because of the impact it could have on Fagan or Hinkley. Like, potentially getting sacked? Do you think that's what I meant?
Maybe. Although surely Hinkley doesn't get sacked on the back of making a grandy. That'd be ludicrous, sorry.
Yeah, you'll get a statue after sticking it to Jack Ginnivan last week by the looks of things in Port Adelaide.
Yeah. I think both would be safe if they qualified.
I'd love to keep a watch on the Jack Ginnivan Twitter if Hinkley did get sacked.
Great call. So we're underway. Whereabouts are you guys in the stream? We should know how far ahead or behind. I'm about 14, 15 seconds in.
So, my game's about to start, it looks like, on my tally.
Okay. We'll go quiet for 15 seconds when something happens.
Yeah, I've just had me send a bounce.
Oh, cheers, Rogie. He's off. Enjoy, mates. Jack Ryan says winning it, the effect it would have, I guess, on Fagan and Hinkley's resumes and legacy, I suppose.
True.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
very true.
Longmire and Scott already had that.
By edging. Only going to watch us in the Brags. That's what he meant by edging.
Mate, this kid is a gun, hey.
Samantha says she wants to live vicariously through some sort of kinetic event for some guys, a big hip and shoulder. That would be cool. Maybe that's why we love football. Power get first goal. I'll be on the scoreboard here.
Oh, I was wondering what was happening with this set shot from about 30 directly in front by one of the best kicks on Port Adelaide.
I seriously think right now Horn Francis is like pushing hard to be up there in the best players in the league. His last month, I've been very impressed. His stoppage works like very danger-esque.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say dangerous. Very dangerous.
Or that.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
Agreed. He's a big variable in this week and potentially next as well. Another clearance here. Reckon Dan Houston leaves Port?
Yeah, I think so, by the sound of it.
Yeah, the fact that it doesn't go away.
Yeah, not that I have any info. It's just kind of going that way
Yeah.
that most stories do when they end up leaving, I feel like.
Yeah, we can just read the vibe of the media and the consistency of stories, which is not a great way to guess, but that's all we have.
Yeah, we're not interconnected.
3 clearances to zip. Port Adelaide's way, they're in their forward 50.
I might be pissing some people off here, but I feel like the Saints, this strategy is all over the place. They're going for like Zach Merritt on a 6-year, like insane deal, bringing Dan Houston in. Like I love those guys, but I don't know. I feel like top ups is not where it's at for them, personally.
Yeah. No, I think that's
Top up mature age. I mean,
yeah, and there's McRae as well who's heading there.
I like that. I like the sound of that, especially for Warner stakes.
You sounded exactly like Palpatine then.
especially because like the light just went off above you, so like you were just like shaded.
Terrifying.
I am the Senate.
Darcy says, "G'day." He said, "Sitting the worst first quarter team is going to catch up with them one day." Well, today could be the day. It's all Port Adelaide so far. He says Freo's pick 7 for North's future first, and North get Houston is the rumor.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I like the sound of that. I'd take North's future first any day.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was what you were saying, but I got distracted by the way you said it. Yeah, I'm with you.
I like that too.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that's a tee up for Warner out of contract as well.
Yeah, I reckon it would be. I think it's a watch this space with Fremantle. If they start trading assets into next year, which apparently they are, that makes me think they at least think they can get Warner.
Yeah, if we could turn one pick into that North future first and then use the other 2 to get Bolton, that'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. Man, North's future first could be very pointy.
Yeah, that's the thing. North's future first and not much else would be close to Warner because North's future first is probably top 3.
They will get Houston and potentially Parker, so there's optimism there for North, but like it could still be bottom 2 or 3. That's a very pointy pick.
It's worth punting on, let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely against pick 7.
Yeah.
West Coast haven't got anything yet for Darling Brandon, but the rumor is probably about pick 64.
And they're paying it all?
I'm not too sure. We've heard conflicting rumors about that. There's nothing concrete to suggest anything, by the way.
Still,
I
both
don't
of you
really
guys
know why either team would have salary cap issues.
Yeah, you'd both be happy to cop some of it just to help with the cap floor rather than overload players sort of thing.
That's true, yeah.
So I heard that rumor with another deal that might be happening where someone was happy to cop the salary to keep the salary floor rather than now sort of thing.
There's a big footy rumor, which obviously is 100% going to be correct, but a big footy rumor that West Coast's pick 3 is still being lined up. They're still going really hard at a big target, but we don't know who. And I have no idea how likely it's going to be, but that's interesting because there are a lot of things that happen under the surface you never hear about.
Because you heard that Simo thing saying A-graders are all trying to go to West Coast as well. Simo's come out saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fielded calls from A-graders wanting to play with Harley.
That was probably after round 10 when we smashed Melbourne and Harley kicked one of the goals of the year. I don't know if they dried up after that.
Was Christian Petrarca, he wants to go to a bigger club.
But the Petrarca stuff's pretty interesting, hey?
Yeah, the BNF, that could really add some spice to him leaving rumours.
Did something happen at the BNF? I didn't.
No, he didn't go.
He didn't go.
Oh.
He went to some training camp at Red Bull in Austria for a Bavarian Portland.
Again, it's pretty like it could be nothing, but you would just think he would know what the public perception is, right? And you'd think he'd make an effort to try and get there.
I agree. I think it's a really bad look. I can't really think of a good reason why he wouldn't, unless it was health related.
He's one of those guys who watches a lot of American sport, and American athletes, when they're holding out on contracts and trades and shit, love pulling shit like this. So he's probably just taken it from the NBA playbook. He is a basketball player, after all, as they love to say.
Geez, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Port here.
Yeah, they've locked it in from what I can see.
I mean, Rosie has belted out on the full, but generally speaking, they're looking good.
I feel like Rosie hasn't quite been there this year. Hey.
Yeah.
Not
but Butters is well and truly like overtaking him now. 'Cause I think before it was pretty close.
Even Horney could be getting into the conversation as their best player. It'd be one of those three, but
Yeah.
Butters is amazing, I reckon. He's so good.
oh, yeah. He'd be a good bit of injection outside pace for Freo. I'd take him any day. On Francis.
How did Harley get goal of the year? So it's in the top 3, unless that's what you mean. I think it was in there. What do you guys think of Harley Reed's goal against Melbourne? Do you remember it?
Not particularly. I'd have to look him up.
He grabbed it literally from the centre circle, like the ruck tap, and ran to 50.
Yeah.
That's right.
And didn't he
was
give
a good
old,
goal.
was it Track or Oliver? He gave the old, how's it going? He gave someone the fend off, didn't he?
Not on that one, I don't think.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm thinking of another one.
Yeah, I think he burned off Petrarca.
Oh, yeah.
There was some really good fend-offs in that game that he did.
Yeah, he's already close to the best at it. And he's only bloody 18 or 19. He'll get bloody
Jake
stronger.
Lloyd lining up for goal now. His career is really
feel like a
fallen
lot
away
of-
after the Phantom Menace.
I feel like one of the reasons Reed gets the most tackles broken is because he goes for it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, most guys are just...
Like I saw Johnson was like number 6, Matthew Johnson, like number 6 in the
Checking
league
his
for it as
head
well.
Really?
And again, I don't think it's just because of his like brute strength, right? It's just because that's like kind of how he plays.
So Harley only benches about 100, which obviously puts me to shame at the moment, but considering he's 18. But 100 for an AFL player, well, it's decent at best.
Yeah.
You know who benches 160? Paul Curtis from North Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I know.
insane.
How crazy, eh?
How does he bench 60 kilos more than Harley Reed and he's smaller? I think he's smaller.
Just goes to show that, like, how, like, you know, all those things, like, it's not really a measure of, like, true. There's different types of strength, right?
Yeah. 100%. And it's timing and technique as well with a fend off, as Lloyd kicks a goal. So I just looked it up. Paul Curtis is actually taller than I realised. He's 6'1", but still.
Still not that big, hey, though, for benching 160.
Yeah, that's like, what did Fraser Gehrig do, like 170?
I've also heard that his, like, other stuff is, like, more like, towards average.
His what,
Paul
sorry?
Curtis. I also heard that, like, his other exercises, like, in the gym are more just, like, normal. But just for some reason, he's just an absolute freak on the bench. Like, it's just his, obviously, like, the way he's built, right? His body's just perfect for bench press, a bit like myself.
Crazy. TM says I look like Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, geez. Can't say that anymore.
I do look a little bit Boratty when I first wake up. My hair's all curly and messy. Oh, Curtis Taylor got delisted out. They were just discussing whether Paul Curtis or Curtis Taylor got delisted. He had a pretty good start to his career, young Curtis Taylor.
Yeah, he did.
Amati. So for all that talk about me saying Port looked great, Sydney about to hit the front. I do agree that Paul Curtis is good here. Is that a straight kick? It sure is. So Swans lead by 6 points.
Port do love the shootout. I feel like they're real good offensively, but not that good defensively, right?
Mm. Yeah, they get a lot of ball inside 50, that's for sure. Oh, Curtis Taylor is going to the Saints here. Is that what you're saying? But yeah, again, Secura. Interesting. Because they're also probably going to get 2 top 10 picks here as well. So maybe they're just thinking, let's improve the entire list in every single way. I suppose with merit, they'd have to give up one at least, maybe both. I actually think the Saints might be good next year. The way they ended the year was really good. And the year before that, they finished 6th. So there's just on the surface level, there's ingredients there for a team coming back into the 8, but they played really well, I thought. Are you muted? You are muted. Did you do that yourself?
No, sorry. I said I'd boot Ross, I reckon, if I was at the Saints.
Boot him right now.
Yeah.
Damn. Why is that?
Just don't feel like feel like the list is better than what the output was.
Certainly this year, but how many years has he been there? Just 2?
Yeah, 2, I think.
Yeah. So I think he got them into finals and then fell out again. So I'd probably say one more. I reckon he can turn him around next year. But it's going to be a competitive top 8. There's so many teams outside the 8 this year that I think could come back in. Your boys are one of them.
Yeah.
There's Collingwood.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Yeah. Who knows about Melbourne? St Kilda we just talked about. Gold Coast with Hardwick and, a good off-season maybe. And even Melbourne, like who knows not to make if Petrarca and Oliver and Viney have a good year. There's no reason they can't make at least the 8. So... And there's West Coast, one of the dark horses of the competition next year. Maybe instead of calling him West Coast, we'll just call him Harley Reed. Yeah, Harley Reed could make finals next year.
I think there's more chance of a Ron Jeremy comeback in 2025 than the Eagles making the top 8.
Okay, we're 27 minutes in. I am going to remember that and clip it just in case. I mean, I agree, but just in case, it would make a great montage if the Eagles make the finals next year. And I have that. It'd be so funny if Fremantle trade all their assets into next year's draft and Chad Warner signs with West Coast. I can.
Or imagine Freo just trading bringing in all these mature ages like Bolton, Pickett, and then finishing 12th next year.
Yeah, North Melbourne make a slight profit on their trade.
And or trade for North's first and they finish 3rd.
Yeah. Sydney moving up through the ground here.
Yeah, starting to look good.
Yeah, they are. They did have their poor start, which they're prone to. Oh, McLean. He's the heir to the McLean's toothpaste business. Swans goal.
I sorted a port for halfbacks, hey, for the next decade with Bergman and Burgoyne. Both of those guys are so elite.
Yeah. I mean, there's Houston. He might leave, but then you got Perryman and Cumming. Perryman's been playing a bit of halfback. Cumming is a halfback. Yeah, it could get even stronger. But Bergman is awesome. I agree.
Yeah.
And Burgoyne was good last week. That was kind of the first time I noticed him, but Bergman I've noticed for a long time. I'm like, geez, good.
Burgoyne's had a good year, hey?
Yeah.
I feel like Zerk Thatcher's the Jesse Lingard of AFL.
Zerk Thatcher.
Yeah, I feel like you look at him and in a few years when he puts on some body mass, he'll be a real good key defender. And then you look at his age and he's born in 1995.
Yeah. I remember the days when 1995 was young.
Yeah. He's 26, which is pretty old.
Yeah.
He's definitely your doppelganger. Look at that.
I kind of see it a little bit. I've been getting a few doppelgangers lately. Connor Nash.
You always have.
the most regular. And Sam Collins.
I say that.
Called you. I remember someone called you Taylor Lautner as well one time.
Taylor Hawkins.
Lautner, the dude from
Oh,
Twilight.
Lautner. Yeah, that was weird.
You take that one.
It was like several people at the same party said it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm even the same ethnicity as that guy. I don't know. I don't think that one's on par at all.
No, I don't see that one. I see most of the other ones, but
Yeah.
But like Bush has said, you're going to take that one.
Oh, yeah.
No,
But it's just like so far off the mark. I can't even be flattered by it. It's just like, no, you're crazy. Asava Radaglia, maybe, is another one for Bush, maybe.
Similar athletic profile.
Few people talking about umpiring and hold the ball. I must admit, I looked away for a little bit.
Busher, have you got a light above you that you can put on?
Just one, but sort of here. I'm in the dining bit of the bloody kitchen at the bit.
Oh, off one step. How good was that?
You're giving me
Very
Night Stalker
good.
vibes with that in the dark there, Bush.
With you.
Hey, Bush, have you got a light in there that you could turn off?
Off would light off and prove the going light and dark type of thing.
That's much better.
Busher, he's having a crack at you there, son.
No, I'm only joking. I'd love to see your beautiful face once again on the channel.
Devouring a Bavarian pork knuckle.
I didn't catch that, mate. I'm sorry. Finish the mouthful dry, yeah.
The Bavarian pork knuckle. The Bavarian pork knuckle sounds like a World War II Nazi maneuver that they used to beat the Allies or something.
I said a Thursday night for Jesse in Berlin.
All Horn fans with the clearance. Bit of space here for, is that boy Burgoyne on the wing? Oh,
Hey, Rioli
drops it. He doesn't go.
Rioli had a great game last week.
Hey, a couple of Palpatine reference, Darthy Jar Jar and Samantha Jane. My lord, is that legal? I will make it legal. Very good stuff. Good contest. Good hot footy. Shaping up to be a good prelim so far. Who do you think Geelong wants to play next week? You'd probably say Port, hey? Considering they just walloped them, I think that's probably the answer.
Still, that puts more pressure on you, the fact you walloped them in a way. You see a lot of those go the other way sometimes when like teams play earlier in the finals and then get the rematch.
Yeah. They did also beat Sydney by 81 in the second last grand final. So they've got a psychological edge in both games, I'd say. And I'm completely just assuming Geelong's playing. My bad. I shouldn't have done that. Who do you think Brisbane would rather play?
Probably the same.
Yeah, I
Port.
think so too. I think Brisbane annihilated Port this year in Adelaide or something like that.
Perhaps.
But they beat Sydney by 2 points. So yeah, by that logic, probably. Oh, the Alaskan gas pipe. Brandon says, God, I remember hearing about that. Darthy says Lions because they're the only other team with blue and gold. That's true. I never actually thought about that before. Sydney have more superstars, but Geelong have the collective edge. Yeah, I would agree with that. Geelong is more of a gun team with some A-grade role players that support, obviously a few stars. I agree with what you're saying there. Sydney have the top end midfielders.
Geelong have the better forward and back line, though.
Yeah. Agreed.
Jez Cameron, Stengel, all those dudes.
Yeah, Myers.
Yeah,
Dempsey.
Yeah, the rising star.
Yeah.
But he still had a good year, to be fair to him.
Oh, he did have a good year, yeah. Good play. Another one of those
Not as
classic
good as
Geelong late draft pick turns into a gun sort of thing.
Even Grimes like that.
Says the new players the Cats have brought in are proving to be valuable. Yeah, like Lawson Humphreys is another one.
Doppelganger for you, mate.
He looks good.
Who, Lawson Humphreys? I don't even remember really what his face looks like.
He's a bit like Josh Carmichael.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, again, different race. But, like, he's got a mustache, so... Asava kicks it behind. So there was a question before, is this going to be a shootout? Well, I would say that I think this game will dry. I mean, it's not high scoring at the moment, but I think it'll dry up even more. Maybe there'll be like a bit of an open third quarter, but close prelim, I see it tightening right up.
I feel like Sydney have taken a bit of control.
For sure. I did actually say that the Brisbane GWS final would tighten up, and it didn't. It stayed high scoring as hell. So I could be wrong. But prelim, I just feel maybe.
Shootout would be good.
What were your thoughts on the Hinkley-Ginnivan scenario, fellas?
You go
Probably
first.
shouldn't have bid as much. He probably shouldn't have bid as much as he did, but I get why, and I'm all good with it. But pragmatically, probably shouldn't have bid to the degree he did.
I personally think that it starts with Ginnivan being unfairly focused on in the media. As much as I think he's a little bit annoying. First of all, the whole pub thing, which isn't really related to this, but I was like, come on, like he just had dinner at a pub.
Yeah, that was pretty pathetic. Hey?
And secondly, I thought the comment "see you in 14 days" was blown out of proportion. Like it was just like gentle banter. Like an AFL player says, "Oh, we're going to win this weekend." It was interpreted as being really disrespectful to Port, but I wonder if people were sensitive to that because Port got annihilated. Maybe. I don't think he did much wrong.
Ginnivan have posted similar shit and no one notices, but because it's Ginnivan, it might have been as well.
Yeah. I thought it was gentle banter. So therefore, Hinkley overreacted. I understand why he put it on the board during the week and motivated Port Adelaide players, and that's good coaching. But I think ultimately, if you wait until after the siren and you don't shake hands and be amicable, then I think that is a bit of a misstep by Hinkley. But equally, he didn't also commit a crime. Like he just probably showed some bad sportsmanship, and a $20,000 fine is probably a bit steep. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't Clarkson get that for a homophobic slur? Like it's not the same.
And McCarthy beat up the coach for striking another player in that scuffle the week before.
I think it was an overreaction in every single direction. I also understand Sicily firing up. Like, fair enough. In the moment, he did the right thing as captain. It was a heated moment. That's fine. But then the post-game media, Hawthorn legends weighing in, getting real arced up about it. I just thought everyone probably needed to take a chill pill.
The whole thing was fair bunk play on, really.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say Hinkley probably shouldn't have done it. If he had his time over, he would have handled that differently.
He even said so pretty much in the immediate aftermath.
Yeah.
At his presser, he was pretty contrite about it.
It'd be funny if he
Brentford
doubled
not
down on
playing
it tonight.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
Oh, no, I was just reading a comment.
Oh.
Parker misses to the left. In fact, doesn't score. Bergman marks. Mitchell says, Darth says Mitchell was bitching about it. He didn't do it like he didn't do a needle gesture. I forgot about that. I think
People were saying that as well, though. But don't you think, like, I mean, they said, are you going to talk to Ken about it? And he's like, no. But that doesn't mean he's necessarily got a huge problem with it either, does it? Like,
I
I
think
feel like that possibly could be misconstrued as well.
yeah, but even if Sam was a little bit pissed off, I'm okay with that as the senior coach who was asked about it, because you think from Mitchell's point of view, they've just lost a heartbreaking final. And the captain comes off pissed off. Ginnivan may have been pissed off, and the room's emotional, and he's wanting to back in his players publicly to the media. So he's, he's pissed off as well. And I don't think he crossed the line. It was probably more the legends and the greats. I actually didn't really listen to specifically what was said, but the commentators.
Yeah. But I felt like Mitchell was just kind of saying, like, I don't need to speak to him. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not something that's like we're going to focus on, really.
Oh, Drew. Oh, frustrating. There's been a little bit of edging going on in terms of kicking a goal. 18-15. We have 45 seconds left. Lockie Jones looks like Dr. Disrespect. That's true. In the end, I think we all just sort of got caught up in this media clicks and engagement business. That's really what it was, for the most part, except for the people involved directly.
It's always just so, like, I don't know, it's so kind of ironic, isn't it? That the media just, like, they need these characters, they love these characters. And then as soon as someone does something with a bit of character, it's like they go to town on them, kind of thing.
Yeah, I suppose it's just because they know that people will respond in that way. So they're pandering a little bit. Not pandering, but inciting a reaction. Mitchell Dawson says, the pap smear. That's what I called him in a few live streams ago. Hey, Joycey, this Mitch Dawson played at Wesley Curtin around the same time we did.
Oh,
I don't expect you to remember.
No.
I just meant,
awesome.
I think we did the bit of the math and we were there like virtually at the same time.
You would definitely remember us, Mitch Dawson.
Oh, yeah.
Top of this, yeah.
Smooth skills in transition. Actually, he might it's possible he remembers you because you had that collarbone injury.
Maybe.
Like you got crunched, right?
If you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
By Joondalup up.
All right, that was a late goal, there to the Pap smear. It is 24-15 at quarter time. I might retire that nickname for a bit. It's gross.
Yeah, it's a bit grim.
Kane Corns should be made head of West Coast list management. We'd see the premiership window move forward by 5 years. I like Kane Corns now.
He'll spend 100 grand.
I do as well.
Cap on ruck.
What was that, sorry, mate?
He'll spend 100 grand of your salary cap on your rucks.
Yeah. True.
That's all you think they're worth.
He does a good thing with Howie.
He does.
And I find when you watch him for longer, you're actually a good human being, I think.
He's not a bad
Yeah, I think he is as well.
He's not a bad person, definitely.
I will still continue to make videos if he says a shit West Coast opinion, I'm gonna tear it apart. But I think for the most part he's cool.
And he knows he's the kind of shock guy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like he's actually quite impressive.
What's that?
I actually feel like he's quite an impressive guy. Like, I think he's not actually the biggest guy, and he's like gone in, had an amazing AFL career, and then he's kind of just like, oh, I'm going to go into like journalism and dominate that space, and he's become like probably like one of the best AFL journalists for sure. Definitely one of the most popular.
Yeah.
And successful. Like, it's obvious. Like, whatever he chooses to put himself to, he is highly successful at.
The thing is, I think there is also almost no footy analyst or journo that is universally liked. You think, okay, Corns, nobody likes him because he's divisive, and he does have his fans. But then you think, I've also heard people like slam David King or Sam McClure, a little bit slightly different type of.
Wait. People like David King?
I like him, his personality. He's never ruffled me the wrong way because I don't think I'd probably only notice if he's slamming West Coast. But I think when Simo was there, he was fairly positive on West Coast, so I never really had anything wrong with David King. I can't help but be a little bit biased in that way.
Whereas he shits on Freo at every opportunity.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. Brandon says that Kane loves a shit West Coast opinion. Was your collarbone, you said that was in Joondalup, was it, Joycey, when you did that injury?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mitch says he was wondering if it was at the home ground.
No, in Joondalup.
The
worst thing about playing...
Sorry.
I was going to say the worst thing about playing like foursome fists is you come up against like the 39-year-old, like 5-time premiership player who like was a gun, like you could tell like 12 years ago that just won't give it up now and they just want to hurt someone. Like,
yeah. I remember my first couple of games I played in the fives, like hadn't played football in 10 years. And by game 3, they put me in on ball and I was like, hell yeah. Like I really wanted to make it as a midfielder. And I went to the first stoppish and I was 20 and about 64 kilos. And I looked around at these like 38-year-old 5-time Willerton former A graders, like lining up on ball next to me. And I was like, oh God. I didn't get crunched because I did not get near the ball. Like I got taken off the out of the midfield very quickly. That was a weird league playing in the fives. I found I played way better whenever I moved up a grade because teammates were a little bit better for a start. That helps when you're a seagull like me, and but also just you didn't come up with all these ridiculous come up against these guys who kick like 100-goal seasons previously. It's crazy.
You're the Lewis Jetta of amateur footy in Perth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wish.
Speaking of that, I saw the other day Zach Clark's playing for Pinjarra.
There you go. Big signing.
Well,
Pinjarra Jets. No, I have no idea what they're called.
He won their BNF.
Does Harley Reed still play? He was playing for Pinjarra, I think, as well.
Oh, I'm sure. I just saw a random post with Zach Clark winning their BNF.
All right. Mitch, I was just going to say to Mitch, I did a Facebook stalk of you. I feel like I do remember you, man. I feel like we played like one game with each other and probably didn't speak to each other. But yes, I do remember Dimo. He wouldn't remember me, but I remember Dimo really well. He's a good bloke. Do you remember Dimo, Joycey?
Yes, he was the older guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a coach primarily, but I think he played a little bit as well. Or at least that was the case when I was there.
Suma was my coach. Probably yours as well.
Oh, shit. Now, mine was Sean Willow.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I played a few games with him as well. He was a good player.
I forgot about Suma. I'm trying to picture him. Yeah. When you consider that Kane Corns understands the nature of football media in that it runs on clicks, content, and attention, you start to strip a lot of the hyperbole out of his words. He is okay. I find that in long format content, he comes across so much better when he is sitting down for like half an hour with Nathan Buckley versus the round so far with Riley Beveridge, where he snaps it up into like bite-sized pieces of content. It's a lot more inflammatory.
The thing I don't love that he does is like when people make these really like finite, grandiose statements, and you can tell they haven't really done the research, which I feel like he's done on Freo a few times. And I would imagine if he's done it on Freo, he's probably done it on all the other clubs, right? But you can probably only tell these things if you're an actual fan of that club, but it's kind of like, Like the other day, he was having a crack at Freo paying Darcy like $1 million, and he didn't finish in the top like 10 in the BNF. It's like, well, mate, he's played like 5 or 6 games for the whole year. Like, what are the chances of him finishing in the top 10?
100%.
No, he did every year.
Yeah, that's silly.
What was that?
None when he's injured every year.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw a frustrating bit on Tradies. I don't know if you ever watch Tradies with. I don't watch it. I kind of just keep up with it on Instagram because they break some like trade stories or rumors and stuff. So that's interesting. But they were talking about how like Dan Houston shouldn't go to Carlton. Sam McClure was saying this because he's like, oh, why would you go to Carlton where you're like barely going to crack into the midfield? Why wouldn't you go somewhere else? And I was thinking like, do you not know who Dan Houston is? He's like back to back.
Like their best halfback, if he'd like probably their best back, right?
I agree. And even if he did like play on the wing, like Carlton's midfield's good, but I mean, Adam Chera's still there. Houston is comfortably better than Adam Chera, for instance. It was just a very numpy Carlton take.
Comfortably better than Chera, comfortably better than probably Williams as well. And like out of those,
I think Williams playing
halfbacks,
forward these days, if I'm not mistaken.
He is,
yeah.
But
But
he's supposed to be Carlton Nuffy.
it was weird. It was a weird take on a guy who's won 2 All-Australians in a row. Like, it was just a complete lack of awareness of Dan Houston being a gun.
It'd be funny if Chera got traded to like North.
Yeah. That's a good market by Georgiadis.
Speaking of like East Coast stuff, I saw a very East Coast headline. It was like talking about Chera, and the title was like, Carlton was sold a lie. And it was like insinuating like how Fremantle had like, sold them this like dud player.
What the fuck?
That's what
like
you get for
somehow made us out to be like this scam artist or something like that.
Yeah. What the hell? Well, West Coast sold a lie with Tim Kelly. What?
Suppose the West didn't run that.
Ooh. Tell you what, it's really nice to see Georgiadis sort of come into his own. Like, he was really good in the semi. Obviously did an ACL. I think has what it takes to be a good AFL player. Not necessarily All-Australian, but I'm pleased to see him play well. And okay, he missed that shot, but just generally speaking, it's good to see.
Do you feel like if Battle and Barras go to Hawks, like Sicily might actually play forward permanently? I thought he's looked really good there a few times this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's just such a competitor. Like, if the ball goes in there, he doesn't let the opposition mark it. Yeah.
I'd probably prefer to keep him in his All-Australian position and maybe impact forward as a bit of a tactical switch up. Adam Hunter-esque.
Yeah.
Because they do have Mitch Lewis to come back into this team too. True. And he is very talented, I think. A couple of people talk about Footy Classified. Footy Classified makes me angry every time I watch it. I can't sit through a show where everyone is being a dickhead and just like ruffling feathers, and it gets to the point where their egos are taking over and they're not even actually trying to win the football debate. They're trying to win the argument against the bloke across from them who's also fired up. Like, it's just bad content.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, Caro Wilson, she loves to throw darts at dartboards and it lands on.
Rogue writes, saying, Busher, how are you taking the tragedy that is the Freo legend Matt Taberner being delisted? Better than Pavlich, he reckons.
Well, I've been telling everyone now he's been delisted. Someone like Geelong's going to pick him up to replace Tom Hawkins. He's going to win the fucking Coleman next year, just like Hogan did. That's what's going to happen. Freo needs like last level tragedy before we're allowed to win a flag. We need a bit more tragedy before we're allowed to win a flag, I think. Just a smidge. More tragedy.
Have you heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Only 2. We need a second traded Coleman medalist before our forward line weeks.
Well, we had Gehrig. That's probably our Coleman medalist that left the club. We also had a Brownlow medalist in Judd with Carlton. So we have not been immune to it.
G-trade.
Was that?
You'd have to be bloody devastated with the G-trade at the time. Like, he's just such a character. Legend.
I thought he was an All-Australian defender at West Coast or something. There was maybe he was a forward, but I didn't know that. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I think he swings both ways, also positionally.
And football. In 3 ways. So Sydney got a little bit of breathing space here. I hope it stays close. But 15 points is the biggest lead of the margin. Mitch knew I'd pull out Plagueis. Scott Cummings.
Anyone see the Eagles BNF chick singing? My God, it was bad. I didn't. Did you see that?
Better or worse?
Yeah, I did. I flipped it in and out of it yesterday.
Was she better or worse than the new Linkin Park chick?
Yeah. She did a cappella version of Jewel of the Fates. That would be sick.
I would never do
that. Drop something.
Sounds like Merritt's basically turned down something already.
Yeah, I'm dropped. I kind of would like to see Petrarca go to the Saints or something, just to, if he was going to leave it all. I'd rather him go to like St Kilda than say a Collingwood, which was probably never going to happen anyway. But Rosie, nice.
Controversial take. I feel like the AFL should be keeping an eye on the Bailey Smith trade.
How
to
so?
Geelong. I think it needs to be a fair market trade, which is going to be hard for Geelong to facilitate. They can probably do it. But
the AFL has the power to, or is it? Yeah, it's a power. They can arbitrate trades, which I think you're getting at.
I'm not necessarily saying they should do it, but if Geelong swapped like a late first, and a second for him, like I wouldn't be that impressed.
The thing with Bailey though is that he did an ACL and fell out of form before that and out of contract. So it's kind of like the natural market forces are working against the Bulldogs there. A late first does seem unders, but 2 firsts would probably be like it's one of those things where it's under.
Is probably slightly over.
Yeah. He's talented enough to warrant the 2 firsts, I think. In terms of my confidence of Bailey Smith being a good player at Geelong, I think 2 firsts is probably about right, even if they're late firsts. I might suggest it goes something like the Barras deal, where there's like potentially 2 firsts, but then a second going back.
Yeah.
And I think the Bulldogs just kind of have to cop their bad luck for that. But Bevo also did play him like on the wing and half forward, and his output dropped.
Bevo's going to move.
Like he was All-Australian before that.
Move the magnets around. Bevo lives for that, mate.
Yeah, he does.
TM's asked, would you rather be stuck in a room with Ramsey Bolton or see Freo win 3 premierships over West Coast? That's actually tough because I really like Ramsey Bolton.
That's fucked.
Yeah, Bush is like,
Yeah.
I could pick Ramsey's brain or see Freo win 3 flags in a row.
Yeah, you're the Freo fan, and you're still considering it.
Yeah, exactly. I'd take the flags, though, pragmatically.
Butch is picturing himself like strapped naked to a giant wheel, like with his ass hanging out. Ramsey Bolton has a power drill with a dildo on the end of it or something.
God.
They didn't have electricity in Game of Thrones.
Oh, God. I don't know where to go after that. Amati gets a goal. So Report had a response, and then Sydney have their own, and we're back to 15. 7 scoring shots each, though.
I feel like we need Port to get the next one, maybe.
Yeah, I hope so. He says this trio is amazing. Thanks, mate. The original band is back together.
Yeah, Jays.
So, anyone seen any good movies or?
Not particularly. I watched that show Rake recently. That was pretty good, actually.
I actually watched. I'm not much of a sci-fi guy, but I watched the new Alien movie, and I thought that was really good.
Isn't it
I
pretty
watched
loaded?
Philadelphia for the first time. The Tom Hanks AIDS classic.
Oh, baby. That's why you've gone with the baseball hat look.
Good film though.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks really
Shout out movies. I'll shout out the Big Lebowski. I've got the shirt on. I'm going to shout out the Big Lebowski, the dude.
Yeah. Come on, Port. Still heaps of time left in this second quarter. Warner. Oh, that's a good spot up on he's going to look so good in blue and gold. Narkle is such a strange player. I thought he was going to be a star, but he's so average. Yeah, I think he's well done, Heaney.
I agree. I agree. I thought he was going to be really good.
Yeah, Perth Demons product, I think. Quinton.
Sparkle Narkle.
The Bavarian pork Narkle.
Is that why he looks half German?
He does look very German, doesn't he?
A little bit. The blonde hair and stuff, I guess.
Oh, you come
Is
to one
Heaney
team
the best
winning
player in the league right now?
Heaney?
Best player in the league, Haynes.
Yeah.
Yes, but it did drop off a little. I suppose that's to be expected, though.
I still got to give Bont the chockies myself.
Yeah, I'd probably also say Bont now that you say that. I've also really come around to Dacos being in this conversation. I was a little bit slow to jump on, but I think what he did this year has put him right in that top handful personally.
Oh, boys, you know who else should be in the conversation off his 2 finals performances?
Sorry, what was that?
You know who else should be in this conversation off his 2 finals games performances?
Newcomb.
Joe Newcomb, baby!
Yeah. He did have a good finals series.
I'll give him credit. He had a good finals.
Yeah, we're referencing a conversation we had, a debate in the preseason predictions between Hawthorn and North Melbourne. And Busher was all pro-North being better, and midfield-wise specifically. And then as the season wore on, thankfully we were validated. But 5 weeks in, I feel like North were going a little bit better than Hawthorn, maybe.
Well, Hawks statistically 5 weeks in had like the worst midfield in history or something. That's why.
And they lost all 5 games too.
Yeah. Up at that point, go, yeah, look at me go.
They were rancid in the first 5 weeks. I remember saying, like, why is West Coast getting slaughtered for our first 5 weeks when Hawthorn's 5 weeks have been equally, if not worse, equally bad, if not worse? And then obviously what happened next was, everyone knows that that's how bad they were.
Will Day was a big factor.
He came back into the team.
Yeah, but he didn't come back till like around 10, 11 or 12 or something.
Yeah. But I mean, probably took a while for Hawthorn to really get going. Like, so they beat North was their first win. I don't know when they beat the Bulldogs, like maybe round 8 or 9. But then you look, and when they played West Coast, and I famously tipped West Coast, got slaughtered for that. But up until that, they hadn't actually been amazing. They just started winning games, and you're like, oh, this Hawthorn team. And then they slaughtered us. And then you look after that, that's where their absolute best came. So we were like the first one to get really dumped by them. And thankfully not the last. Will Day was back round 7, says Nick.
Was he?
I have no idea.
Did you have any fantasy?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Papley's gone searching for that free, I reckon.
If he was back, I don't think he didn't do much.
Yeah, I mean, with one player won't, make that much of a difference, but he is a star. This game is getting away a little bit, points out he.
Yeah, he was back round 7, but he had 11 disposals, then 12 in round 8.
Hawthorn's rebuild was wild.
Came out of nowhere a bit too. I thought they'd have to load up in the draft for a year or two before they really got to
They're barely getting anything out of their top picks other than Nick Watson. But if you look at who all their best players are, a lot of them have been 2nd or 3rd or 4th rounders or trades, like cheap trades.
Yeah,
Will Day was
a first rounder. Will Day was a first rounder,
but they finished 9th. So that was the year they hadn't bottomed out. You know what I mean? They picked their best player, close to or whatever. I don't even know who their best player is. Maybe Will Day, but
what was Ranger Barras?
Yeah, he was like pick 4, 5, pick 5. Nick Watson's the only one. Somebody points out Weddle. That's true. He was a first rounder, but I'm talking about like when a team really bottoms out and they get picks in the top 4 or 5. Those are usually the players you'd think would drive their improvement. Weddle was a live trade at pick 18. Like that's
I know what you mean.
Different in my opinion. So it's crazy what they've done.
Oh, yeah, not counting the fact that his mum makes cookies for whoever gets injured at Hawthorn. That's
right.
Yeah, that was a long-term play. They're like, all right, we'll live trade for a player and we get cookies.
Where was Mackenzie taken?
Pick 7 or 8.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like him, eh?
I like him too, but still probably not like a key part of how good they are at all. It's just goes to show there's a bit of a myth around needing to completely capitulate and get all these picks. It helps. Your probabilities go higher, but Geelong, Hawthorn are 2 of the biggest examples of teams that just don't need their top access to talent. They'll pick their guys, they come up with a system, and they're all sweet.
And then they'll trade for guys. Even when they thought they had it last time and got Titch and O'Meara, but it didn't work out, they got rid of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they failed a lot before they succeeded, Hawthorn. Dear me. So McLean lining up to make this a 33-point margin.
Damn.
West Coast and North best players are late picks. So my mind immediately went to Harley Reed and Harry Sheasel here.
Same.
Pick 1 and 2. Unless you're including for us, Oscar Allen, Jake Waterman, they were pick 21 and pick 76. So then it opens up a bit. That's true. McGovern.
Very. Don't hate that.
True. Yeah. I guess I'm talking about the new generation. But you're right. Yeah. Gov is one of the best draft picks we've ever done. That's a goal. Larky. Okay, fair.
This is Larky.
Nick says, I hope there's a serious discussion about how the AFL has kept Sydney afloat with the academy. I do think this is a little bit of an elephant in the room. I made a video about this last year after the Gold Coast thing, and I got slaughtered by Sydney fans. Sydney are in a great
It's true.
organisation, and they couldn't be this good without having a strong culture and a great coach and all the rest of it. But what happens if you
But-
take Heaney, Mills, Blakey, and
Yeah.
Goulden out of this team? They're
Yeah.
not playing in the grand final. So
Even Brady Campbell, even some of these other fringe guys like
yeah,
Warrant, he was another one, wasn't he?
no, he was drafted out of Victoria.
Yeah.
Those are the main
It
four.
was
I
a good.
think. Are they all
I think
Australians? Goulden is right. Yeah, Goulden last year. I can't remember if he won it this year. Blakey was this year. Heaney would have been. Yeah, I'm not sure about Mills if he's all Australian at all. Maybe
Mills has got an All Australian.
does he?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go. That makes my point. They're all Australians.
Last year or the year before, wasn't it?
I believe you. I just don't really remember.
My gut says he would have been.
Yeah, I think was it as a midfielder? Yeah, I actually think I remember that now. I think he was picked as a mid a couple of years back.
Yeah. One of those mids they can half call a half back flanker and stick them on the half back flank sort of chicanery.
Mm.
They've been better for that the last few years. I'll give them that.
Yeah. Darthy says Dean Cox is a great pickup too. That's true. Abdullah says Port are prelim chokers. Yeah, well, it's kind of shaping that way. I was just thinking that. I was looking at the score and I was like, this is starting to feel like the Geelong game a little, where I thought Port were playing okay in the first half, but the score just kept creeping a little bit and then they fell away. So big test of their mettle to not do that again here. I don't think they should get battered. The team skill isn't that different between the two teams. So hopefully.
I reckon most of Frio's better players are late picks, I feel like, in the current side.
Lukey Ryan
Late
in
picks, you say?
What was that, sorry?
Lukey Ryan in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah, loads of them. Brennan Cox, Sean Darcy, Josh
Yeah.
Tracy.
These
with
things
obviously
are really
young-
necessary to building a good team.
But then you look at Brayshaw, Sarong, Young, that's the top three in the BNF, right? And they're all top 10 picks.
Yeah, that's true. With our 2018 team, our three highest draft picks missed the grand final. It was like Nat Nui, Gaff, and Shepherd were all top 7. But the team that actually played, you'd be hard pressed other than Kennedy to find a top 10 pick, I don't think.
Yeah. Shuey was one, wasn't he? Was Yo top 10?
Shuey was pick 18. Yo was pick 30 to Brisbane.
So
It's first round for Shuey,
right?
but still.
They're great picks. Obviously,
Yeah.
West Coast didn't pick Yo, but
Yeah, we got lucky with
both
Yo.
both significantly better than the average, pick 18 or pick 30.
Yeah. Yeah, Darthy points out Gaff. Yeah, he didn't play. To be fair, Gaff wasn't All-Australian that year, so still a big part of that team. Absolutely.
He was, definitely.
And Nick Nat too for the first 16 rounds or something. But still, the general point is that it's what you do with all of your picks, not just the top ones.
Jar Jar, but he tanked his draft value to get to West Coast.
What was that? Sorry,
I think
Because Jar Jar's asked Darling top 10. I said no, he tanked his draft value to fall to the Eagles. Is the conspiracy theory on that one?
That is the theory, but pick 27 he was.
Yeah,
Or 6,
that's right.
26.
But on paper, they all thought top 10 talent, but all the bullshit came out about him.
I reckon, to be fair, I think McGovern's pretty comfortably the best Eagles player of the last decade.
I would say that Kennedy is
15
close.
years. Yeah, Kennedy's close. I still think
but
McGovern.
I wouldn't argue too hard about McGovern being number one.
McGovern's not the best back in the league for 8 years in a row.
Yeah. How many All-Australians he won? 5? That's fairly up there.
Oh, that was really good from Grundy. Come on, Paul.
I looked away there. I was distracted by an Eagles question. Port were lining up for goal a minute ago. What just happened? They didn't score.
Especially only eight scoring shots to 10, right?
Yeah. There's only been one number one pick to play in a flag at the club they were drafted at, and that's Luke Hodge since 2000. That's true.
Wow.
It's always had a bit of a stigma to a degree, the number one pick. You get the odd year where it's like obviously someone who's going to be good, like your Harleys, your Walshes, your Rouse, those sort of dudes. But then there's your
flag.
What you debating between like a Jack Watts and a bloody some other upside player. Nick Nat was the same. Was that year? Yeah, Nick Nat.
Yeah, it was Watts and Nick Nat.
High reward guys that may or may not pan out. Nick Nat panned out. Jack Watts didn't. So pick one. You sort of.
Jack was also drafted at 17. That was one of the last drafts you could do that. They drafted him a year younger, which is a variable as well.
Well, yeah, it would have made it harder for him to assimilate. Yeah, pick 3. That's the fucking money spot right there. The money shot, pick 3.
If ever there was going to be a year you could guarantee pick 1 won't be the best player, it would probably be this draft. We still don't have any idea who it's going to be. It probably will be Jagger Smith, but it's so even. Three minutes to go in the first half of this prelim. Out of bounds. Tom Swift panned out.
As a doctor or whatever he ended up doing after footy.
I think he's like...
I think it's...
He was a smart unit.
He would have actually been an okay AFL player if he had stuck with it. Like, he never would have been great, but I think he definitely could have had like a long career.
Yeah. He retired. He wasn't cut. So he was amazing when in his first season. He won 3 Brownlow votes in a game against Richmond, and like we were calling him the Judd replacement because he was bursting out of stoppages at mad speed. And then I think in 2010 he had like appendicitis, and I have no idea why that would halt a player, but he came back and had lost all his power. Then he grew his hair long, and it didn't help. Because what happened then was fans all turned on him and became a meme, and he ended up retiring because of all the hate he was getting. Yeah. So we'll never really know if he was going to be a decent AFL player. I still think maybe. Good goal there. Was that Rioli? I missed it.
Yeah, it was a good goal.
Yeah. I saw the goal, but I forgot who kicked it. There we go.
You just don't want to say Rioli's name after he left the Eagles. After you did the righty by him with his Gatorade incident.
Yeah.
It does.
Port massively won that trade, eh? Like, he's been pretty damn good for Port.
Yeah.
He's an X-factor small forward in a premiership team.
Yeah.
I didn't
they got a good discount for him.
For Port. Yeah. To be honest.
Was that, sorry?
I didn't think it would go well for Port. Just with what spot he was at, right?
Yeah. No, I was very enamored with his talent. I thought he was always just going to end up good wherever he went.
Yeah, I've always liked his game.
He was really important for us in 18.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he kick like 40 that year or something?
I don't think it was quite that much. It was almost like his impact was just higher up the ground as well. Like even running through stoppages and getting the ball from a difficult situation to an inside 50, stuff that like stats don't really show. That was the stuff we really loved with Rioli, not so much 40 goals or anything like that. He's saying Finn O'Sullivan will probably be the best. I could see that. Or Sam Lawler. Brad Dalziel was supposed to be the next best thing. Or the next big thing. Yeah, I remember his debut against us.
I do remember he had I think there was 1 year at Lions that was really, really good.
Yeah. Then
There's
he
lots of
flourished
players
at
like
West
that.
Coast.
Who's the little fella that was at Brisbane as well that went to Sydney? Lewis Taylor.
Lewis Taylor.
Is it Lewis Taylor? Yeah. He had a really good first year as well, right?
He won the Rising Star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, he was like one of those guys who fell in the draft because he was a bit of a short ass and vanilla.
Mm.
Panned out.
Yeah, panned out for a year.
Drafting athletes left and right.
That's a really rare drop off so fast for a Rising Star.
Yeah.
An actual winner. I'm trying to think who else won the award. I suppose Palmer, career-wise, fell off a bit.
Oh, that was a very big.
Yeah. Palmer, Lewis Taylor.
I think, yeah. Don't think either of those two. Well, I don't know as much with Taylor, but I don't think Palmer was very professional.
Right.
Which probably hurt him.
Yeah.
Recently. Going to raffles on a Wednesday night, it's unprofessional. Who would have wondered?
That was part of the gig for a Perth AFL player in the late 2000s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's got to
Yeah,
be a kick. Oh, my God. Are you serious? How is that not a kick to Horn Francis? I want to see that replay.
Oh,
Does
this could be
anyone
a big
agree with
goal.
that?
Reality's just marked it for me.
Yeah, same. But Horn Francis was at the top of the square.
Yeah, Horny got the free, I'm guessing. Well, no, William.
Jaden Stevenson's another good example, actually, of a drop off.
Yeah.
And that's Darth Jar Jar suggesting that.
Yeah, fair shout.
Come on, Junior.
Come back, come back, come back. Oh, just short.
Oh. There we go. Halftime at the football. This is the same scoreline at halftime as the 2006 grand final.
Righty.
I've watched that DVD so many times, I remember all the scores.
Have you seen that dude who knows like the score of every game this century?
Wow.
And he
No.
can tell you like all the time scores and shit. It was like on one of the podcasts, might have been Dane Swans or something like that, where they were just asking him random games and he'd rattle it off and it was correct.
Wow.
It was like some autist genius Rain Man type who just knows every game.
Yeah. I've seen this guy, this Carlton fan on TikTok. I think he was like at school, and someone go up to him and they talk about Carlton games and they'd be like, 2014, and then they say the scoreline 108-50, and he'll say the opponent.
Yeah.
And then he'll do like any season. Like, whoa.
Yeah, this guy's like that, but any game, he'd tell you the whole round if you asked him around.
Yeah, that's absurd. That's AI.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're fake, deep fakes, these people. They just want to make it automatically.
Deep fakes.
Trying to make everyone. But
yeah. He said, we'll look after Jack Darling. Thanks, mate. Just get him to 300. He had to be convinced by Clarko to not leave the game. You're talking about Stevenson, he. Ruggie says 10 more years. Max says it's the same prelims as 2022. If Port were wearing prison bars, they'd be like Collingwood. It's true, though. It is taking on a very familiar tone. Like, halfway through the year, you think, oh, this is a very different looking finals race. A lot of interstate teams. And it's kind of almost ended up predictably. We could still have an interstate grand final. I didn't actually hear Barris's speech, Darthy. I saw a couple of people react to it, or just like quote little bits, but I didn't actually see it. I was recording videos. I didn't actually tune in till the end. Hey, Blue Abroad's in the chat. Welcome, mate.
Louis, what's cracking?
Oh. How are we doing? TM says Hinkley's going to be on Centrelink next week. Do we agree with that? Surely Hinkley doesn't get the sack.
Probably not.
Surely not.
He's got 1 year to run, or is it no years to run? Or...
I think it's one.
Yeah. They'll do him the Justin Longmuir, give him the 1 year extension.
Yeah, that's what JL got, didn't he?
Yeah. Which after the way of the year, we're kind of glad we went that direction rather than giving him the 5 or whatever he wanted.
Yeah. Who do you think should be Eagles coach out of I don't expect you to have a really good opinion on this because you're not invested, but like Skipworth, Stephen King, and there's Brent Montgomery and McQualter.
Gosh,
Now,
I would love a really deep analysis on Hayden Skipworth's resume, please, Joycey.
Yeah, Hayden Skipworth, eh?
I remember him as a player. That's about it.
Let me think.
Let me Google this on my phone.
Hayden Skipworth. Hayden Skipworth, the governor of the WACA, 1888 to 1905. Yeah, he's good. Put him in.
Yeah, real old school.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't know enough about those fellas, to be honest.
Yeah. I realized as I started speaking, I was like, this isn't going to be a very long conversation.
Joey, though, he's back half the year.
Hey?
Joey showed a bit in the back half of the year. I'd give him a crack.
Did you guys see Stephen King, who is one of the leading contenders, was at Geelong's training today and he collapsed?
Shit, sounds like something that would happen in a Stephen King novel.
Oh, that was very good. It'd be a very weird plot line.
It'd be quite a boring Stephen King novel.
That's what they're known for. Being weird.
The senior assistant coach at an AFL club collapsed.
But his wife has a grudge. Nah, hopefully he's all right. That's crazy, though. I don't know about the details, but yeah, that happened this morning. I woke up to that news.
Wow.
I heard on one of the Dockers podcasts the other day where they were talking about one of our assistant coaches tried to lift weights with the boys on like a 1 max bench press and tore his pec.
Oh,
just trying to get him with all the players trying to do a 1 max bench.
Yeah,
Frio's going to have a bit of a turnover of coaches too. So.
Yeah, Boydie's gone, Murphy's gone,
Bob Murphy gone. Yeah.
Adam
Boyd
Simpson.
And maybe someone said something about the Bulldogs.
What's that, sorry?
Maybe someone said something about the Bulldogs. Boydie and Bob Murphy leaving at the same time.
True.
Boydie's gone to Pies.
Pies, that's right, yeah.
Which is where he was, I think.
Yeah, okay. Maybe to replace Skipworth, but we don't know if he's leaving yet. So
apparently, he's like a bit of a he's like almost like an SAS guy. Like he'll like almost outrun like the players and that who are like 10 years younger than him. Like then do insane weightlifting and just a hardcore dude.
S10 says, surprised we didn't go for Hickmott. That's a good point. He didn't really get that seriously considered. There was a lot of talk about him early. Max Hansen says, step 1, fire Hinkley. Step 2, get the dead coach bounce. Step 3, rehire him. I like that. I'm just having a look. Yeah, okay. So the Eagles did put out a statement here by Stephen King. I think, did Darthy say that? Yeah. They're just describing it as a medical episode. Hope he's all right. Jeez. Could be anything. Boyd is replacing Lepich. Okay. Yeah, Lepich is moving to list management. That makes sense. Boys, I'm going to go tinkle. You guys are going to need to be the star of the show for a minute. Gives me a break. I was about to say.
So, Joycey, Rings of Power, is it as shit as... I don't think it's shit, but I don't think it's good. I haven't
actually watched any of the new season yet, hey?
I've watched a few episodes. It's basically the same shit as the first one, if I must be honest.
Yeah, I'm kind of undecided if I'm going to watch it or not because it might
It's not-
just piss me off.
It's background noise for me. Like I'll sort of have it on, sort of half pay attention to it, but get caught up in the doom scroll. I don't really
Yeah.
like it, but it's background noise and it's Lord of the Rings, so I sort of cop it. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, whatever. It's still kind of interesting, even if it's not a good show, right?
yeah. Kind of thought they'd do it better though, but oh well.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's not that good, unfortunately.
Even I've heard some grim things about the plot of the bloody Rohirrim one they're making.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That looked good, I thought.
Apparently I don't know if it was like fake, but apparently they're going to turn the main hero into a chick or something. It was like an actual, like, or whatever his name is. Apparently they're going to try and turn him into a chick.
Okay.
I reckon it could be like internet fake trolly, get people pissed off.
Yeah.
Basically.
But yeah,
I don't have any problem with with a chick being the main character at all. But don't want them to turn, a male character into a female.
Yeah, if it's like someone who's a snob, it's like Helm Hammerhand. He's like a legendary figure of Rohan.
What the fuck have I looked back into?
Lord of the Rings talk.
As soon as I leave for 2 minutes, it goes to Lord of the Rings. You don't hear any Lord of the Rings on my normal...
Like niche Lord of the Rings lore from 300 years before the actual events of the films.
Yeah. I'm sure I missed out.
We know you're more of a Harry Potter Star Wars connoisseur, Jesse, than a Lord of the Rings one.
Yeah.
You're more of a Star Wars Harry Potter connoisseur.
I'm pretty into Game of Thrones, but not a high level. I did read the first 4 books, so I'm relatively into it. But
which
Lord of the Rings
AFL would you say is the little finger of AFL journalism?
Sam McClure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep, I'll back
Oh,
it.
jeez.
What about Tom Morris, though?
Oh,
yeah. He's the Joffrey.
Ginnivan is Joffrey.
Yeah.
Now, Tom Morris is
Mumford is
somebody.
the
I think
Hound.
little finger for Sam McClure, but Tom Morris is some other character. There's got to be some other like equivalent.
Qyburn. I wouldn't call him Varys, but I'll call him Qyburn.
Qyburn. Which one's Qyburn?
He's
Qyburn's like the
creepy
priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one who makes the zombie out of.
He does, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I'll tell you, True Footy would be Theon.
Come on, man. Specifically, Reek.
Does that make me Balon Greyjoy then?
As my dad.
Or bloody Uncle Euron. I'll be Uncle Euron.
Oh, yeah.
Lloydie is Jon Snow, says Tim.
Oh, baby.
Who is Joycey? Probably Rob Stark.
Oh, I'd take that. That's a
Yeah, I was going to say, you get a good
complimentary.
one. I got fucking Reek.
Who's Busher?
I like Euros. Euron. Euros is a delicious Greek treat. But
Euros.
Euron.
Yeah, me too, bro. But what character is he? Euron Greyjoy. Isn't he the one that yeah, right.
Yeah,
He's the crazy.
Sounds like me.
Someone called me Jamie Lannister.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, hopefully not season 1. Yeah, I have been known to push kids out of towers.
Dermot Brereton was my shout for Jamie Lannister.
Yes, I like that. Dermot Brereton's a great shout with that haircut, eh? Jamie Lannister.
Yeah. Who would be Tywin?
Ooh.
Tim Watson is a little bit in appearance.
Yeah, he's not smart enough.
Yeah, someone who's
Who's the
I
guy
actually really
with
like
Geelong?
Steve's character in the show.
Who's the guy that's ran Geelong all these years?
Ran Geelong.
Yeah, like the main list manager guy who's like the.
Stephen
Yeah.
Wells.
Oh yeah, Wellesley. He could be Taiwan. He's run a established operation, but it's always amongst it for a long time.
Obscure references.
Well, Tim Stewart says Jesse's Tyrion. That's a compliment.
I'll take it.
Yeah. He's by far the smartest character.
And the most well hung.
Isn't
In
that
ratio.
Erogi says Alistair Clarkson is Tywin. I don't mind that.
Don't hate
I
it.
don't mind that.
I feel like Alistair Clarkson's he's kind of got that good and that bad in him. I was thinking Brond for Alistair Clarkson because you like hate him and love him at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darcy says Stephen King's medical episode was related to exhaustion. My God. I suppose it's a stressful time for him. Obviously, his team's in a prelim, and then he flew across the country to interview for a job. Yikes.
Robot.
I suppose that's a good result.
I thought Jack Sinclair and Jack Stephen would be Loris and Renly.
You're mixing up the wrong player, I think, there.
I need to hide my face from many employers.
Yeah.
As soon
I
as
don't
I
want to correct you, but I think you've got one of those players wrong.
What, Sinclair?
I knew where that was going.
Maybe you have it right. I don't know. Either way, we'll park that.
Yeah, probably the smartest decision we could make.
I don't have an employer, but still. Chris Scott is Eddard Stark. Yeah.
Does that mean Brad Scott's Benjen?
Oh, I like it. Yeah. Here's the I find I get a bit annoyed when I look at Chris Scott because I feel like he's just too well groomed.
He is extremely handsome, actually.
His beard is weirdly like, I'm not a fan of just a really well shaped beard. Like, you know, when they just cut the lines in?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves had that. I always noticed that
Did he?
on his beard. I was like, whoa, it's too perfect. Snazzy Shoe
Mumford's
said
definitely the
Stephen King
hound.
Convulsions. History of epilepsy exhaustion might make sense.
Ramsey, definitely Trevor Nisbet.
No, he's Ramsey's
No,
dad.
no. Who's the guy that orchestrates the Red Wedding?
Littlefinger.
Oh. No.
Like Argus Filch from Harry Potter.
The old guy.
Oh, yeah,
Walder Frey.
Walder
That's Trevor
Frey.
Nisbet.
I'll go with that. I like it.
And
So
Worsfold is Roose Bolton.
Bruce Bolt. That took me a second.
Ramsey's like dad, remember? He's the one when they're at the Red Wedding,
Yes.
Catelyn starts sitting next to him and then notices he has chainmail on.
Lannisters send their
Yes,
regard.
yeah.
Have you guys watched
Seen
House of the
so
Dragon?
dark.
Have you guys watched House of the Dragon?
Yeah,
I'm not a
I like
fan.
it.
No?
I thought you'd love a
I
hot
didn't
day,
like-
Jesse.
Hey?
I thought you'd love a hot day, Jesse.
Ha. Millie Alcock is stunning.
Oh,
She's
yeah, I
such a
love
beautiful human. She's too young for me. I'm not going to say anything else, but
She's
she
like
is just a
22, ain't
gorgeous person. What?
She's 22, ain't she? Or 24? 22, 24, Millie Alcock?
Oh, maybe.
Which
But
just
I
proves
just
his
like
point.
she needs to be in the show more. She's such a good little actress.
Yeah.
She's in this show Upright on with Tim Minchin. That I think that kind of was a bit of a break for her. It was really good.
Yeah.
But the show of House of the Dragon does nothing for me.
I actually quite like the first season. I thought the first season was pretty good. But
Yeah,
the second season was pretty average.
They
I
milked it a
feel
bit.
like there's no good characters. I need good characters, and I don't like anyone in that show.
Daemon's pretty good. Daemon's a good character.
Who?
Daemon Targaryen's a pretty good character.
I don't know. Doesn't cut the mustard for me.
Oh, baby.
I don't
Matt
find him
Smith.
interesting. Whereas, you go back to the start of Game of Thrones and like Ned Stark, Jon Snow, Tyrion, and then it evolves from there. Like there's so many good characters in every different plot line.
I feel
Damon
like
does nothing for me. And then after that, other than even Millie Alcock's character didn't do anything for me. I don't know.
I feel
I
like
don't care.
in Game of Thrones, like every character has like so much to them, right? It's like more realistic. It's like every character has that good and that bad side, and you're kind of not sure like which avenue they're going to go down when you think of like Jaime Lannister and Bronn and like all those guys. They're quite complex, right? Whereas I feel like House of the Dragon was a lot more like, oh, Alicent's the bad guy and she's the good guy and Damien's the like brooding, like I don't know, it's just a bit wasn't as complex, I don't think.
If you read the material, there's more ambiguity between the good and bad, apparently. Not that I've read it, but read like anecdotes about it, sort of thing.
Samantha's asking
you could definitely. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, football. Any hope of a Port come from behind win?
Only 25. It's doable.
Yeah. Yeah, I think after last week's semi with Brisbane and GWS, I'm very reluctant to rule anyone out at this point. I don't think they've been playing that bad. I think Sydney have just done better at converting. So there is hope, but Port Adelaide's mentality will be tested.
Yeah, we haven't seen, I don't think we've seen like this Port side, right? Turn around too many deficits like this. I want to say.
I'm sure you're probably right. Did they come from behind against Carlton? They beat them in Melbourne. I can't remember if they came from behind. But either way, that probably wasn't 4 goals. But yeah, I think you're right. Second half underway. Go on the pair. Tim says Port need to stop bombing it in forward. That's true. Same amount of shots on goal. Millie Alcock is the new Supergirl. I did see something about that. I followed her on Instagram for a while because I was just like, she's so beautiful. And then I realized, why am I doing this? This is weird. Just unfollowed. Oh.
Hey, it's me, Uncle Jesse. Come to say hi.
God.
Does your house need solar?
What? LBS Smith or IBS Smith says this is so frustrating. A little bit frustrating game, yeah.
It is.
I doubt Port can match Swans class. Yeah, I think you're right. And as Chaos says, Sydney have been cleaner so far. Port came from behind against Hawthorn. That's a good point. The last 2 goals. Samantha answered her own question. That's true. Perfect start for Sydney here in the second half. He says it's over. It probably is. But I was burned last week. Swans Geelong rematch is something I'm not particularly keen on unless the result changes. And I just mean closer. I'm not saying Geelong need to lose for it to be good. I just 81 points, man. But I do think Sydney are a lot better than they were in 2022. And I think Geelong are probably, well, they haven't been at that 2022 level for most of this year, albeit they're looking red hot as the season's gone on. I was just making a case for why a Sydney-Geelong grand final would be better than the one 2 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
A ripping grand final between those two would be fine. I don't want to have a shit grand final, though, you know?
Yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, I don't care who's in it, just so long as it's a good game.
Yeah. Rush behind. Swans look like a mature team now, says he. Yeah. Yeah, and even one thing that's different is Heaney was, I think, all-Australian forward maybe in 22. I think he kicked about 49 goals. and now is an elite midfielder. So that's
wow.
the first cab off the rank is as a big difference in those teams.
Did you say that?
No.
What time
What'd
are
you
you
say?
at?
Oh,
Are you watching the
Jones
footy?
just kicked it. It's 18-15 inside 50. Sava tackle. Are you ahead?
I'm not at the same point as you. I must have paused it.
Ah, okay.
I did. I'm back to live.
Was it just Warner kicking a goal or something?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was ages ago.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cal
damn
says,
it.
as a South Aussie stuck around Port fans, another 119 would be mixed feelings. True.
Man, this is just every year Port just like fall over here, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if they lose tonight, that's not shameful, but you just go back to the qualifying final where they were probably favourites. I certainly tipped them.
And you also go back to that thing every year. It's like they're just, what are they doing to take themselves to that next level, right?
Yeah.
Who are they bringing in that's going to take them from, prelim to grand final?
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in a lot of the time you just got to get to the grand final and then like anything can happen on the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it's pretty similar to their story 2001 to 2004 when they won the flag in 04. They finished like top and second and stuff throughout the Brisbane flag years, but they were going out in straight sets or they were losing home prelims or, it's very similar to what's happening these days at Port Adelaide. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, but it's a bit of a historical trend with Port to choke good finals positions.
Yeah, I'd rather be much more consistent like Freo, just be average during the home and away season and then not make the finals.
Yeah. A little bit less heartbreak.
Here we go, Port. Darcy Byrne-Jones, is that where you're at? Just kicked it?
I'm a little bit behind, I reckon. Now he's got the ball. That's all right. If someone kicks a goal, just go, and I'll know what that means.
Okay.
As a Bomber supporter, one finals win would be nice. Yeah, it's crazy. I think we established in the last stream the second biggest streak is North Melbourne with 9 years. So that puts into perspective the 20 years. He says, Brisbane and Sydney, I feel like it wouldn't be a close game. I want Sydney to win purely because I feel like Parker gets his flag and he has a high send-off. He would come back to a fat paycheck and join North. Yeah, true. I reckon he leaves either way.
Parker?
Mm.
Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah, he's too low in the pecking order for where he'd like to be, I think.
Yeah.
But would he be any higher at North with LDU and Wardlaw and these other guys they want to give those minutes to?
They would absolutely shoehorn him in there for experience, I reckon.
Yeah, I reckon for sure.
I mean, he's 32, so I don't think he wants to be the number one mid or anything like that. But if they make him a hybrid forward mid and add a lot of leadership, I think he'll get every game unless he drops off a cliff, he'll get games.
Yeah.
Who's your pick for the Brownlow?
Oh, jeez.
No one I feel strongly about, I'll put it that way.
Emotionally?
Well, in general, picking it's a hard one.
I'm going to say Dacos.
Nick Dacos.
Yeah.
Nah, Josh.
Josh had a bloody good year, to be fair.
Yeah. All Australian type. You're not a bloody Brownlow. You're like Nick.
Um,
I'm going to say
Chaos
Cripper.
and Crips. So
Yeah,
for context, Crips and Dacos are clear equal favourites. There's a big gap to third.
Yeah, I'd probably
I
go
don't
Cripper.
think. I don't think I want Cripps to win it. I don't think he's the best player.
Yeah.
He's carried
and
Carlton at times this year, though, but counted for Dick all in the
yeah,
end.
I just think Bont and Dacos are definitely better. That's just my opinion.
Hey, Brandon, dropped $10. Thank you, Brandon. Very generous. Thank you so much for your support. And he's got a question. I'd like to wear my hoodies without wearing a t-shirt underneath, and my sister constantly grills me for it. What do you guys think is super weird behavior? I just want a consensus. Again, thank you so much for the donation, Brandon. You're a legend. What are your thoughts, boys?
Fair cop play on, except maybe in public, but even then, fair cop play on, really, if you don't play on take.
Yeah, I've done it. Definitely,
Yeah.
I've done it.
I've definitely done it around the house.
It's not weird.
If I was
don't think
nipping
it's
to the
weird at all.
shops, I wouldn't feel the need to put a shirt on. If I was going out to have a coffee with somebody, I would probably put a shirt on.
Yeah.
I think you also want to think about the flexibility of, what if it's a little bit sunnier outside than I thought and I want to remove a layer? I can't. I don't think it's weird. I think girls underrate how weird boys can be sometimes with things like that.
Darth Jar Jar says, "What's the worst prelim you can remember?"
Oh, Parker.
West Coast and Melbourne.
What's that?
No.
Which
West
one?
Coast and Melbourne.
That was
one we
awesome.
No, the one Freo and Hawks.
Yeah.
That one we lost here on our home deck.
That was a good game. That was a good game, though.
We were right in it. It was so heartbreaking, though. That's why it was so heartbreaking. We were right in that game. It was one little fuck up with that drop mark in the back 50. Even then, we might not have won it because of that one mark. I'm not saying that, but it was.
Yeah, that cost West Coast a premiership.
Both times we've lost in prelims, if we won, we would have played you guys in the Grandy.
That's so weird, eh?
Yeah.
I feel like our 2006 team was like, everyone always forgets that was a really, really good side. Like we won like 10 games in a row. We only lost to Sydney in Sydney by like 30 points or something.
Yeah, bloody stacked team, really, when you look at it. Pretty good mid. Bally, Hazelby, Pav as a forward. Long Miller still was around then, I think, 06.
Yeah.
Good when he played.
Geelong and Brisbane in 2022 was a stinker prelim. That was 71 points.
I can't remember. I can't actually remember many. Hey, I'm struggling.
Yeah, you remember the good ones. Eagles North in 15 was horrible to watch as an Eagles fan because North finished 8th, I want to say, and made a prelim. And so we were raging favourites. And I think they kicked the first 4. And I was just sitting there. I watched it at Murdoch. Remember that little communal area with the table tennis table and the vending machine?
Yeah.
That was where I had to watch the game. And I was just watching it with Darcy. And I think Darcy was blatantly going for North. And I'm sitting there not enjoying it. And I was like, if Hawthorn and North Melbourne are in the grand final next week, I'm not watching it. I was so filthy. And even though we qualified for the grand final, I remember feeling pissed off for most of the game. That was probably the least enjoyable.
They're hard to enjoy. They're hard to enjoy finals as when it's your club.
Yeah.
You could only enjoy it if your team is literally like 50 points up and there's like 15 minutes to go.
Melbourne's the one we beat Melbourne. That was one of the best days of my life. It was just fun as fuck. Minus with the clearance. Oh, somebody kicked a goal. I was too engrossed.
The one for Freo I really enjoyed is when we beat Geelong at the MCG. Not at Skilled. The one. Yeah, do you remember we like just absolutely came out of the gates and it was like 48 I mean, I don't know the exact score, but it was like we
Yeah.
piled on so many goals like straight away. I
Did
think
you beat
Pat
them
kicked like
twice in
6 or 7.
back-to-back years? It's like 12 and 13. Did you beat them once at the MCG and once at Skilled?
I'm not sure. Was that 12 or 11?
I think you
can't
missed an
remember if it was
11.
12 or 11. Yeah.
Because we leapfrogged you in 11. Pretty sure Freo didn't play finals that year. And then in 12, they were top 4. Maybe. Oh, I'll look it up. I'm curious now. But are you talking about when Stephen Hill kicked the late goal to win?
No.
A different one. Yeah.
No, we played him at the
I think that might be
MCG before that.
Yes. Yeah. I reckon 2012. Let's find out.
I think Pav kicked 6 goals, and he kicked some like really good ones.
It was an elimination final, and you were winning 37-1 at quarter time. You were winning 57-23 at halftime. 38 points at 3/4 time. Wow. And then you end up only winning by 16. But still, unreal. Yeah, so that was 2012. You didn't finish top 4. You must have finished like 7th. Yeah. And then Adelaide, I think, knocked you out the next week. Yeah.
And that was the year like where that was the year like, you know, like I think Freo fans felt like something special was happening, but the rest of the league hadn't like cottoned onto it kind of thing yet.
Yeah.
So like heavy underdogs.
You could have done Adelaide final, you were up at halftime as well, I think, or like you were leading early. And then sure enough, 13 was a good year for you. And you beat us in round 1 real easy. I remember that. That was disgusting. Because West Coast had so much hype going into that year too, and we were awful. Georgiadis to keep the game.
Had a good final series.
Yeah.
Man, how good was Joey Danaher in like the last 5 minutes last week?
I know.
He's a gun, isn't he? Like,
he can be. Yeah, he's good. Adelaide Sydney quali in 2012 was super low scoring. Yeah, I've still got it up. It was 28-52 at 3/4 time. Sydney ended up winning by 5 goals. Oh, man. I remember this Collingwood West Coast semi-final in 2012. Damn, we were up by 11 points at halftime.
Oh, no.
I remember Eagles players crying at the end of it.
Come on, Port. Come on. Oh, fuck.
Bit of a stepsis chat going on in the chat.
It's a bit weird.
Get into it.
Few potential Tasmanian Devils in talking in conversation there. When the Tasmanian team comes along.
Port really need the next 2.
Who's bloody commentating? I've had it muted the whole time. I didn't want it to interfere with me mic.
I've got it pretty low. I can hear Brayshaw.
Oh, yeah, Brayshaw's usually a pretty mild, safe call.
Oh, JB and BT. There you go.
Oh, yeah, they're the usual combo.
Dixon.
Apparently they good on radio, shit on TV.
What's that, sorry?
Apparently they're good on radio, shit on TV.
Oh, yeah,
When
right.
Radio game together, apparently they're good.
I hate listening to footy on the radio.
Yeah, I need the visual. I need the visual for footy. I can't.
I need the visuals too, but I actually feel like the radio commentators are generally a lot better.
See, I spent an entire year or 2 when I was a young man in Abu Dhabi where I could only listen to it. And I swear I had so many experiences where something would happen and the commentators would just be like, hey, he gets it up the wing and oh my God, would you look at that? I can't believe what just happened. You have to see it to believe it. And just go on for 45 seconds without explaining what happened. That happened so often that I really packed the shits with radio commentary after that. You need to be really descriptive.
Yeah, they're just the tryhards who are trying to get the fucking moments and carry on and get the Bruce McAvaney one-liners and shit.
I like when they have like big games, big finals, and they show like on YouTube, they'll upload the radio commentary as well. Like, that's cool when you know what's happened. But so many times I'm like, I don't even know who has the ball. Like, what just happened? Was it a screamer? Was it a goal?
Yeah, but they made the app now so you can like link the radio commentary to watch it on TV at the same time if you want, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Start a radio station. That's the trick.
Yeah.
Pirate radio.
The movie. So this game is right on the precipice of being done and dusted, I reckon. I reckon one more goal to Sydney. And I mean, I made this mistake last week, but still.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious for Port. Wonder what the bookies reckon. I'll have a gaze.
Oh, throw.
Yeah, Port Adelaide are paying 31-1 to win this game at the moment.
I like those odds. Actually, funnily enough, Will last night or the night before.
For a laugh.
Not me.
He Will was like, he's my English roommate. For those who don't know, he's like, he kind of likes Port Adelaide because of their colours, and he's like, "Do you want to do a £1 bet?" He doesn't talk like that, and I can't do the accent. But he's bet me £1 Port Adelaide would make the grand final. So I guess I'm £1 richer, gentlemen.
That's at least almost $2 Aussie, mate. You're bloody doing
it. I know. That's my weekly income as a YouTuber. That's all right. Although thanks to Brandon, I can have a couple of extra meals this week. Hayward.
Extra of the $2 pints. Are they still that cheap for you?
Yeah, some of them are. They're not $2. They're like £2.50 sometimes. So it's about $5.
Yeah, shit. Still, that's still bloody good.
Still really good.
I love it, man. I'm gonna miss that.
Oh yeah, they're taking the piss with the alcohol tax here.
Yeah. To be fair though, that's just Wetherspoons here. But you go to any somewhat nicer pub and you're paying about the same as Aussie. Okay, and in a lot of cases more. Like in London, it'll be like $14, $15.
Well, that's London, to be fair. London's a bloody
$15 pints last time I was there. Far out.
Jeez. Like 15 Aussie or £15?
Aussie.
Imagine £15.
Yeah.
Oh, when I was in Abu Dhabi, like on holiday once, they had upped the alcohol tax, and I was paying like $25 for a bottle of Foster's.
Jesus, Foster's.
Yeah,
Foster's too. Yeah,
Foster's is big everywhere else. I don't mind. Yeah. I don't mind it too much.
I've never tried it.
Yeah, it doesn't exist in Australia. Well, like hardly, I doubt.
Yeah, I was going to say you can get it.
Yeah.
No one does.
But no one drinks it.
Like at a pub?
Oh, I haven't seen it on tap, but I've seen it by cans at the bottom.
Yeah, for sure. But a lot of pubs here will have it on tap.
On tap? Fuck. Interesting on tap.
That's the only way I've ever had it.
Yeah. Is it better on tap, I'd assume? Would be.
I don't mind it, but I'm a little bit of a dumb beer taster. You know what I mean? Like a lot of it tastes the same to me.
Yeah, they're either fruity or not. Basically, is my scale.
Yeah, like your basic stuff.
I do agree.
Port get one back.
Oh, what's your favourite beer, boys? Speaking of, just has come up in the chat. Speaking of. I'd probably say at the moment the Dingo Lager, I reckon that's pretty good. Tastes like beer. It's a local mob in Perth. It's like they use the logo off that big dingo flower thing, buddy, when you're driving along the coast in Cot there.
Mm.
They picked that under their noses and used it as a logo for beer. Like literally the copyright expired because that fucking flour mill's been there that long. So the copyright had expired. These guys swooped on it and they've started putting out this dingo lager, but it's bloody good.
Yeah, right. I don't know what my favorite beer is. The beers that I get here, there's like a little French beer called Brasserie or something like that. And you buy the equivalent of 5 pints in beer for $6.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cheap to be an alcoholic here if you were one.
Yeah. Do you ever get
Whereas
on the
Joy-
Carlsberg special brew?
You'd be
What was
driving
that,
distance. Good joints, Joycey.
You're going in and out for me. Sorry.
Sorry. You'd be good driving distance for a few breweries, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Florence.
Yeah, well, I go to Rocky Ridge like every week, basically.
Boy, they're bloody good. I was at some
I miss
restaurant.
that Rocky Ridge brewing place in Busso, Joyce. I'm keen to go back there.
Yeah, it's very good. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is the new big mob that's popped up down there any good? Because I know
Shelter.
yeah. Is there new thing?
Yeah, it's
down there?
okay.
Yeah.
It gets a lot of crap, but it's good. It's a great location. The beers are pretty they're like standard beers, right?
Yeah.
They're pretty and that's not me having a go, like saying it's a bad thing. It's just like they're pretty normal beers.
Yeah.
Whereas Rocky Ridge is much more likely to do something a bit out there, right?
Got a nomination for Cooper's Pale or an Asahi. Oh, yeah, I drink both of those.
Yeah.
Holidays.
Yeah, they're both good.
I was loving the Asahis in Japan. They were good there. At the
I get a pint of Stella a lot at Spoons, which apparently is a bit of a wife beater drink. Like it's associated with it because it's cheap, but I'm poor. So
it's a solid.
If I go to the Bonlo, I'll just have a look for there's always like a special like on some like craft beer doing like XBA like 6-pack for like $18 or something. And just buy that.
Yeah.
You just taste all different ones, see what you like doing it that way. It's a good way to go.
Yeah. Plus, it's just like I'm having a beer just at home. I don't really care about that. It doesn't have to be the fanciest thing ever, right?
Well, you just bloody see what you like. It's a good chance because it's all bloody weird. Some of them are a bit shit.
Oh, no. Oh.
I think I'm behind, but something happened in mine as well.
Yeah. Oh.
That was brutal.
Good goal. Future number 3 at West Coast slams one home. And Sydney will make their second grand final in 3 years.
Yeah.
He says the court streak against Sydney is about to be over. That's very true.
Is Boak contracted for next year?
I actually don't know.
I was hearing chit chat about him on one of the AFL talk shows. They reckon they like him more than they did a year ago, so they're probably happy to give him another year or two.
His role's changed quite a bit this year, hasn't it? He's definitely taken doing more of the half forward, pinch hit midfield type thing.
Which is what you'd want him for at this point. If you're relying on him to be one of your top 3 or 4 midfielders, it's a bit dubious, I'd say.
I mean, if they're serious about Perryman and Cumming joining them as free agents, or at least Perryman, you'd think Travis Boak becomes a pretty low priority. But I don't know what they can afford, though.
Yeah, it sounds like they got a bit of money to throw around, but they're even in the Lukosius. They've given him an offer, whether or not it goes that direction. I'd imagine Adelaide has more money to throw at him than they do.
True.
Both of those clubs have probably been flirting with him on the lows for years, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It was a run before he even got drafted, but this was going to happen. But he stuck around longer than you'd think, really, to be fair. Everyone fought
for sure
on with him 3 years. He stuck around for bloody, what is it, 7, 6, 7? Something like that. Almost a agency.
He'll be free agent 2027.
Okay, a few years off then.
But it's not him like being homesick. It's them saying, "Hey, maybe have a look around." I think from what I've heard, or from what John Ralph said, Hardwick is really rattling the cage in his exit interviews. Yeah. And I think there was a bit of a suggestion that it was a case of like the coach is on heaps of money, and he might have said, you're not earning this. So I think there was an honest feedback piece there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dimmer's a bit no nonsense.
He said,
and there's a lot of those guys in the Gold Coast. They paid him a lot to keep him around early.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true though.
So as soon as you those sort of deals, you guys are going sign this just because you guaranteed the money, mate. You can still force the hand, but you guaranteed this money. Sign the shit out of it.
He says he's from Broken Hill. Oh, there you go. Oh, fair enough. Interesting. A funny thing, when I check my comments, sometimes I check the filtered comments. YouTube sometimes filters stuff that shouldn't be filtered. Like somebody will just post something completely fine and it'll filter it. So I check those. And I noticed that not anyone, but most of the comments that have Isaac Cummings' surname get filtered.
Yeah, that's one that could be taken out of context.
Yeah. I've had people like arc up at me before because they comment something and it disappears and they think I've deleted it. But no, it's YouTube's filter system is very, very patchy. 3/4 time of the football. There's a little dark part of me now that knows that Port Adelaide's not going to win, and I kind of want to see it get to 90 points.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie though. I was absolutely loving watching Carlton get smashed by Brizier.
It was the next thing for making finals.
Yeah.
I
was basically thinking it would have been better for them to miss finals, like the fans, than to watch this.
Yeah.
Sorry if Blue Broad's still on.
Yeah. His family lives near you. There you go. Here. That's cool.
It's only through jealousy that I say that.
Yeah. Chaos says I was disappointed when Carlton got their first score. Yeah, I think
I wanted to score
a bit of a curiosity you get with these sorts of things. And the same thing when Port played Sydney and it was 72-0. I wanted Port to keep scoring.
Well, there's the thing with the Carlton one specifically where they would have been the first team in VFL, AFL history to have a scoreless half. There was 4 minutes left in the half when they scored. I was hoping that happened and just be like, Carlton. Got
that Sydney West Coast game as well. It was like 200 points.
I don't remember that one. I don't think that one was real. I think that was you playing AFL Evolution.
On like easy mode.
Even when Hayden McLean was lining up to put the score over 200, even I was like, I kind of hope he kicks it because there's a weird little nerdy part of me that just wants to see 200. And then he kicked it and I felt disgusted.
You know when something's just like so bad, you can't help but like laugh at it. It's like almost in that territory.
Yeah. It was just, I remember being stunned in that game. It wasn't even, it was 133 points and it was halfway through the third quarter. I was like, what? I don't even remember if I got angry. I was just more like, what? I don't know what to say.
And all because you got Tim Kelly.
Yeah. That damn trade.
It's like the frozen yogurt scene in The Simpsons. You can have Tim Kelly, but it'll cost you 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
They might be players that are that good, but...
I think we joked in 06, Eagles fans, that Beau Waters... So this happened. Beau Waters swallowed a goldfish at the after party of the grand final. And we joked that, it's really messed up. But we joked that was like bad voodoo and it cursed the club because we fell apart. I wonder if Dom Sheed ate a goldfish after his kick, because everything since has been, well, not everything, but most of the things since have been diabolical for West Coast. We really know how to fall away. We really do. It's
some sort of.
Speaking of Sheed's career has not panned out how I thought it was going to pan out on the back of that grand final. I felt like after that, he was going to go to like another level and become like a pretty elite man.
Yeah. In
But
21, he was good for a
out.
lot of it. And then he started playing injured and he became horrible. And to be fair to him, like, he hasn't played well since 21, but he has also been maybe our most injury screwed player. And there's a lot of injury screwed players at West Coast.
He looks like he has like the body of like a 45-year-old and he's like 30, right?
Yeah.
He just all around looks old. Looks like he's got the miles on him, just in general, the poor bugger.
He's got a similar hairline to my dad.
He did abandon the hair pretty early, actually.
Did he? Smart.
Yeah, he went
that's a smart thing to do.
You don't want to be hanging on. Yeah, you don't want to be hanging on.
No, he could have got the bloody Les Grossman, I reckon.
Yeah, he adopted this full skinhead at 22, I reckon. That's real young.
Yeah. I bloody watched
He did have a nice head of hair when he had it as well. Like in 2015.
Did he?
Like, he actually had nice hair. It all just went.
He always had a bit of
Zaharakis, actually. Didn't Zaharakis have like a really, really good hair when he was younger?
Yeah,
he had like a real mop, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, okay, his hairline's pretty damn high. Maybe he just buzz cutted it and his hairline is a little bit high. It wasn't. Yeah, he didn't really lose all his hair now I think about it.
I'd be too scared to buzz cut my hair now, I think.
Yeah.
That I wouldn't
Not
get
gonna
it
lie,
back.
over my head the other week, I flirted with the idea of just going full tilt and seeing what it looked like, but I refrained.
Go the full Baron Harkonnen.
But I'm at that stage where I've gone through the awkward stage of growing my hair, so unless I think of a good reason to cut it, I don't want to, because I know what it's like before when I had long hair to go through the hard yards when it looks shit house in the awkward grow stage. So I'm on the other side of that.
That's why I don't shave my head. It's the regrowth phase. Otherwise, I like having a buzz cut, but everything after that is awful.
I agree.
Yeah, it's like levels from the like bald, like clean buzz cut to like the next level. You go for that awkward shit.
Yeah,
you go normal.
You look like a microphone.
Yeah, exactly. Got the
short innings, like a good innings.
Who was the guy that played for Gold
You really
Coast?
suited a buzz cut, actually, Joyce.
Oh, thanks, mate. I think
Anytime.
you're probably more complimentary than is true, I reckon.
No, I disagree. I think I remember. I think I shaved my head after you did. You had it at Murdoch. I thought it suited you.
Do you remember Jared Grant? Speaking of microphones.
Oh, he's a real estate agent.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's some niche knowledge from you.
Yeah, I've seen like memes.
Didn't even look that up. Yeah, real estate.
I've seen memes of like these like book cutouts that you put in front of the house with pictures of him on the front. Like people were like were memeing the shit out of it at one point.
Do you think West Coast can keep Reed? I think we can. I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves in free agency. I don't think he's going to leave anytime soon, to be honest. Oh. Oh, yeah, Will Schofield did have nice long hair. I forgot about that. G'day, Wooden Spoon Darty says, did you expect it to be this one-sided? I was kind of prepared for every possible outcome other than Port winning massively. I thought a big Sydney win could happen. A close game either way could happen. So I'm not surprised, but I thought Port might play a bit better, yeah. the way Port Adelaide finished this season is important. I think in terms of the tone of the club, they need to put in a decent last quarter here, given their history of dropping off in finals.
Heppel as well. Yeah, remember Heppel had the dreadies?
Yeah.
Ages too. I tell you what, he seems like the best bloke ever, Dyson Heppel. He does
I've
so
never
much.
forgiven him for robbing Shuey of his Rising Star Award, so no, disagree.
Mate, he does so much. It's crazy.
Mm.
Brendan's
Yes,
saying,
the
has the
fourth
fourth
has
started yet?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we're lining up for goal. Logan, I think. Yes.
Dalhouse too. Yeah, that's a good one. If the bloke on the left is Tom Hanks from Philadelphia, which of the two blokes on the right is Antonio Banderas?
Wait, I said that earlier, didn't I? Wait, we were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. It's
earlier.
fucking. It's you, Busher. Damn it.
Yeah, you caught me.
I was going to say, that's weird. Like, I said something along those lines earlier. Okay, that makes perfect sense.
You said you'd watched it, and then I said you've got the baseball hat on.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a crazy coincidence.
No, it's me staring.
Tom Hanks actually really suited a buzz cut as well.
He can go a few ways, old Tommy Hanks. That's why he's such a good actor. He can rock a few different styles.
Yeah, he was really good, as was Denzel in that film. Really good film.
Which
I love Denzel.
Philadelphia.
Oh, don't even know if I've seen it.
It's an AIDS lawsuit thing. Tom Hanks is an actor. A lawyer, and he got sacked.
Tom Hanks is an actor. Sorry,
that's all right. No, I really got an appreciation for how good an actor Tom Hanks was after that. I didn't really see a lot of his classics. Like, I've never seen Forrest Gump or Green Mile, or I've seen Castaway.
Shawshank?
He's not in that, is he?
Oh, no, Tim Robbins. Yeah, I got mixed up with Tim Robbins.
Yeah. I was going to say a very bad joke then, but I just pulled myself back.
Curious. Good mark on Francis. Sack Hinkley thread going to go hard tonight. That's true.
That's a roller coaster. Imagine riding the fucking Sack Ken Hinkley roller coaster.
Surely they don't.
They wouldn't, but like the narrative of it, like that's what I mean. The riding the roller coaster of that narrative.
Yeah. That's true. For clarity, Joycey just messaged us the thing that he didn't want to say on live stream. That's why we're laughing. I want to make a joke too, but I won't. There are some things I need to hold back from my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What was Busher saying before when you were like, I'm just hiding my face from the employers?
Oh, God. We're talking about doppelgangers, and he started talking about Jack Stephen. And
that's right.
Yeah. It's a specific rumor. It's not anything true. Anyone, don't worry about that.
Don't try and backpedal. Ollie Wine's lining up. Ugh. Not really even.
Take the clip without the rest of it, even if you do backpedal at this stage of videos and people put themselves out there.
Yeah.
They won't clip the backpedal, they'll just nail you anyway.
Rogie says, so who's been Sydney's best player and why is it Travis Burke? I haven't actually looked at the stats all game. Goulden has the most touches. Boak has 21, most for Port. What's his efficiency? 66. And 16 of those 20 were uncontested as well. Amadi's had a pretty good final. 3 goals in a final. You take that.
At the start of the year, if you told me who do you think would be the better forward out of him and McDonald, I wouldn't have said him, but I'd say he's the answer at this point.
Yeah, this year he's better.
Definitely. Horse, is that a John Longmire reference there, Chaos?
All right, I'm going to ask you guys a question.
Yeah, Mark?
So you're offered the chance to commit a crime, right? If you commit a crime, if you commit this crime, it can never be repeated by a human again. However, the catch is you cannot tell anyone why you've committed the crime.
Yeah.
But you're guaranteed to be caught for it.
Embezzlement.
What do you choose? Embezzlement?
Financial crime. Nah, I don't know. Wait, so do I have the choice to not do the crime, or is my choice I have to choose what the crime is?
You don't have to do the crime, but
Okay.
if you think as well, on the flip side of that is like you've got the chance to stop this thing from ever happening to anyone ever again, right?
Yeah. I don't think I could do it.
Not anything?
Yeah.
Not even like something really like niche and lame that's still illegal?
My mind went to shoplifting, but then I realized a lot of the people that shoplift are really poor. So a lot of the time they need it. So I'm not actually helping society that much if I do that.
One of the guys at work said, drop a nuke. Which is the poor city that gets it now?
You get convicted though.
You're guaranteed to be
probably
caught.
get some sort of immunity if you were dropping a nuke.
That's why I went to a weird direction where it's like something where you're not going to get in too much shit for, but it's like a good way to fuck with someone. That's sort of where my mind went with it.
Brandon says perjury. That's good.
What about just like speeding?
Ooh.
Because that's something where
no one ever gets done for speeding again. Definitely. I've only got 4 demerits at the moment.
Wait.
No, it's yeah.
Wait,
you can't commit the crime, so that means you can't speed.
Yeah, they can't speed, not just that they don't get caught for it.
I'm actually trying to save lives here, not avoid you paying a $500 fee every.
Mate, it's $100 fee, so I'm only going 8 Ks over, and most of these speed limits are ridiculous.
Or wearing a
I'd say
seatbelt, maybe.
DUI, but I don't want to put other people at risk. You know what I mean? Like if I can assure that I don't kill anyone on the road, I would get caught for a DUI.
I suppose you could technically.
Actually, one last DUI. Trust yourself. Get borderline over the piss. You're not going to hurt anyone. But you get done for DUI, and it never happens again. I reckon that's the answer.
Yeah,
you could probably just like get drunk, get in your car, literally just drive slowly down your own street, and keep going back and forth down your own street until you get caught. So you're guaranteed not to hurt anyone else.
It's a very long game, though. Waiting for a cop to show up and breath testing.
Well, maybe if you kept beeping your horn, so your neighbors start thinking like that you've had a mental breakdown. Maybe. Yeah.
A big sign on your car saying "I'm drunk."
Yeah.
Anyway, football, 45 points with 12 minutes to go in the Port Adelaide season, You'd think.
Nah, Port Adelaide come back. I'll see what the odds are. 31 to 1 before, it'll be like 100 to 1. They won't even be offering odds, I don't reckon. Yeah, they're only offering margins, no odds anymore. That's how little faith they have. Even though it looks like Port Adelaide may kick one soon, according to what I've got versus what the bookies reckoned. The bookies reckon it'll be 92.53.
The Boak Tree kicks a goal. Rogie, are you embarrassed, bro? Dabbing on the haters. Brandon points out that racism isn't a crime. And I was going to say that myself, but I thought, no, I don't want to get clipped.
I was going to say that too, actually.
Racism's not a crime.
I would know.
Yeah, that's true. Drake, I was saying, I've been watching before. It's like about this Sydney barrister guy. And the first episode, basically, the premise is that cannibalism specifically isn't a crime.
Wait, you're watching
Just
Rake?
Rake, it's his show. It's like an Aussie
So
show.
good, eh?
It's really good.
It just got released last month.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
like, I'm way behind on Rake, but it's fucking awesome.
Rake is
awesome,
unreal.
hey?
I've
Yeah.
seen,
It's probably
we've
my
seen it
top
all. So
5 shows ever.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I know I'm way behind on it, but yeah, I've just watched it and loved it.
It is really good, hey?
Yeah,
I'm
but
actually just about at a point to go through a big peep show phase again, I feel like.
Nice.
It's been, you know how you have those like 2-year cycles? Or
Yeah.
3-year cycles?
In between for me,
Yeah.
that's the one, but the innings feels too long between innings.
Yeah. No, that's in between.
Sure.
It's great. Luther.
Yeah, I
is
just
another
saw
one for me that I really like.
That Mr.
You're going to
Gilbert
love the
in it,
Beatles when they come out as well, Bush, wherever you are.
in the cabin in the woods.
There's this guy called Mozart that I saw the other week. Buddy.
He's dropped another banger.
Yeah, this Bayhead
I did-
dude at number 6.
Oh,
I
some of the
did
goal
see this
kicking tonight
funny.
has been farty.
I did see this funny TikTok of like this guy, and it's like, imagine if like Mozart was like what was popular now, and it's them like all huddled around like a car, like with the
Yeah.
radio on, and the Mozart comes on.
Da-da-da-da. That's Beethoven. Did you say Beethoven or Mozart?
Mozart, but yeah, could say either.
Joke ruined.
Tim, I think it's an aggravating factor when they look at crimes. If racism is involved, it aggravates the crime, makes it like a tier worse rather than being a crime on its own. Whereas if it's what motivates a crime, they'll hammer you more because it's a shit motivation for crime.
But you would get done, wouldn't you, just for like public nuisancy or something like that, right?
Yeah, and if it's like racist-driven public nuisancy, it aggravates it. It's looked upon worse. Yeah,
I'm sure they'd find
Let's
something.
go, Rosie.
Yeah.
I'm rewatching Master of None and Boston Legal at the moment, both top tier shows.
Haven't seen Master of None. Is that like an Indian kitchen show?
that's where.
Funnily
my
enough,
mind
it is
was.
by Aziz Ansari, and it is got some Indian themes. He's obviously got immigrant parents.
Isn't he
but good
Pakistani?
fun. Hey,
Isn't he Pakistani?
no, he's Indian, I believe.
Is he?
Yeah, he's got a Muslim surname, so he's Muslim Indian. And first
Speaking
name.
of it, I watched This Is the End last night for the first time in ages. And we're at the bit where bloody Craig Robinson just leaves him to die, and then 5 minutes later, he's like, "Yeah, I tried to save Aziz, man."
I've never seen it.
This
I
Is the
agree.
End. Good movie. You got to watch it. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
It's like where all like Seth Rogen, James Franco, all those sort of dudes. They play
Yeah, I know of
themselves,
it,
but like
yeah.
new versions of themselves. And the apocalypse happens. It's really funny.
Darth Jar Jar asked Jake Waterman, Josh Tracy.
I love them. I think they're both great, but I am happy with Tracy at the moment. I think the div.
Yeah. I would also go
Yeah.
for the guy that kicked less goals and was less impressive. Did he actually kick less goals? I actually don't know. I'm just being
Yeah, he
smart.
did. He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Obviously a fair bit younger too.
I think as well, he just like with how big his body is, like the stuff he does up the ground as well, right? But Waterman's a gun.
Yeah. Tracy probably is good for Fremantle's build because he's going to get better right as they come into the window. West Coast with Waterman makes sense because we're right in the premiership window. So we're glad that he's peaking now.
It's funny
Yeah, that
how
was
like
gonna be
Toby
my
Green, like
chaos.
everyone talks about how bad his season was, but he kicked like 44 goals still.
Who's that, sorry?
Toby Green.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Did he really
Like,
kick
he-
44?
he-
Wow.
Yeah, finished 11th in the Coleman.
Yeah, not
Everyone's like,
bad.
oh, this guy sucks now.
Mm.
And Ben King kicked 55 in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, career best season.
If you had said at the time that Ben was going to be the more consistent one out of him and Max, people wouldn't have believed it. But
Yeah.
I guess Max has always had the trouble with the injuries, whereas Ben's always been pretty good, knock on wood.
Up until this year, their stats were almost identical across their entire careers.
Because Ben would have him for games, so that's pretty interesting that Max has the.
They've both done an ACL, haven't they?
I
Ben,
guess
Ben
it's a
did an ACL a couple of years back.
Max before getting drafted, because Max did one. He didn't play that first year, or he'd done it the year going into it.
And Max,
They don't seem
Max
to
had a
be
shoulder
like.
as well.
I feel like they're not that much better than when they got drafted.
Max and Ben.
I'm sure they are. Yeah. They just don't seem that much better.
I think Ben in particular had been pretty linear. Like if you look at his goal tallies, just his goal tallies, I think he's slowly gotten better. I think Max, so Wooden Spoon data says Max got 51 3 years ago. I don't think he can play full seasons at the moment. I think he's playing, without double checking that, I feel like he's playing like 2/3 of a season, if that, which impacts that.
Yeah, I was going to guess his best is like bloody 17, 18 games in a year. That was my guesstimate.
Not too sure.
Yeah, me neither.
If he kicked 51 goals, he probably played every game that year.
Close.
Darth
maybe
Jar
20.
Jar. Darth Jar Jar says Prime Fife or Lockie Neal. Tough one. Very
Five,
different, right?
Five's just got the area or the other ways he can impact the game rather than just.
I reckon Prime Fife is definitely better. However, Neil will have the better career probably.
Yes. Well done, Prime Five. Well done, Prime Five. However, Lucky Neil will have a better career.
Well, Neil's going to have like 10 years of absolute eliteness, whereas Fife's probably got like 4.
Yeah, because Fife's been hammered with injuries. Whereas, Neil's sustained brilliance. Like, if you're picking him in a draft, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Like if it's,
Neil could legitimately win the Brownlow this year. Like he's an outside contender, but he's still top 3. And I feel like last year he wasn't
definitely
considered the favourite either.
Yeah, imagine if he gets 3 Brownlows.
Yeah.
He'd be what to 3 Brownlow winners is what like your bloody Shane Wodens, those sort of dudes are to 1 Brownlow winners.
Be the worst 3 Brownlow winner.
Yeah. As good as he is, but 3+, that's pretty good company.
Yeah.
It feels exacerbated for Lockie Neal as good as he is. 2 is about right.
Harry Sheath or Harley Reed? Who would you rather recruit for Fremantle?
Ooh, Harley, because you can play him on that half forward and he'd give us a bit of dynamic.
Probably Harley, yeah, but I don't necessarily think that Harley's a better player. I really love Sheasel.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably Harley.
Yeah. Who would you rather coach right now out of the Roos, West Coast and Richmond?
Roos, West Coast, Richmond. Not
Eagles.
the Roos.
They're pretty loyal to their coaches, the Eagles, I must say. I'd probably take the Eagles job, and you get a few good years. They're a well-established club. Even Simo's talked about in the podcasts and interviews he's done since leaving, all the extra opportunities you get like in speaking roles and that sort of shit around town. Really good.
At least though, Richmond would be really good to go into right now because you're going to get a heap of turnover draft picks. So it's a great opportunity for a new coach to just really mold the team and pick the players you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I fear for Richmond. I fear what they're. I'll reserve my full judgment for after the trade period, but I feel like blowing up their list, which is not in a good position to begin with. I think we're looking at a long time out of finals for him.
I don't
So
think they're
yeah,
actually
they're
losing that much by letting go of Baker. Who they'll get like a first rounder for. And even Bolton, who is an absolute gun, like he's still like, I don't know, he's very in and out of games, pretty inconsistent, right? Like,
But it's the collection of Baker, Graham, Rioli, Bolton, and the retirements of Dusty, Grimes. I know that Grimes and even Dusty probably weren't adding that much. Marley and Pickett's gone. But you also factor in there was no depth to begin with.
But think of it.
I think they're screwed a little bit.
5 draft picks. They might have 5 first-round picks going into this draft. Get 5 good kids. It's a good start. Another year of strategy. Yeah, go full North. Outdo North at doing North. Sell all your bits for picks while you can instead of just losing them.
I think Richmond and West Coast, if you're a coach going in today, you've got more time than if you go into North. Like the pressure now, like with North coaches, it's like after bloody half a year. Whereas I feel like going into Richmond or West Coast, Richmond you probably get at the first year with like you accept another spoon probably.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think it depends. So if this is just generically like I'm taking their playing list and I'm the coach, you'd go North. They're the best placed going forward with the talent they've got. There is the Harley factor at West Coast, but I'd still probably say North. But if you're actually a first-time coach wanting to join a particular organization, I think West Coast would become the most attractive there because of the loyalty that you talked about, the resources, the opportunities, and a history of not really staying down too long. I think.
Yeah, I think West Coast is the right call. I feel like West Coast will always attract players. Like
West Australians coming home, bloody
yeah, that's true. Exactly. We have an advantage over North with the West Australian thing. I mean, there's Fremantle to compete with, but they can't recruit every player, right? And North
will have a good run.
Never have that. What was that?
We've had a good run. We'll probably have another good run for another year or two, and then Hughes will have a really good run with them all, I reckon.
Perhaps, yeah.
We'll get the odd one, but Hughes will have the majority, I reckon, once we do it in the next year.
I think Baker will be at West Coast, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so too. Pick one athlete from any other sport to slot into your teams. LeBron James.
Really? Isn't he like 38?
Yeah, you get to get on the West Coast.
40.
Yeah, and he's 40 and he's still putting up 25, 7 and 7 a game. And he's
imagine though bringing in like 40-year-old ACL like game 2. And you could have chosen any athlete in the world. You'd be picking
run with injuries. Knock on wood. You'd have to go.
Mbappe's pace would be up there.
You'd have to go some sort of tall athlete, surely, for footy if you're getting a real prospect.
I'm gonna say Ronaldinho,
or an absolute like gun, like NFL, like linebacker or something, just with like pace and power.
To be honest, the NFL one is probably the. Oh, basketball could be a good crossover.
Jojo, is this all time or current athletes? If you can go any athlete in history, or is it only currently professional?
I'll say Tiger Woods. Two minutes to go, by the way. This game has really quietened down.
As you'd expect.
I reckon if I'm going any athlete ever, I'll probably go Cristiano.
Yeah, if you could.
He's a freak.
Yeah. If you could recruit him at 18, that'd be nice.
I think because it's all like from just willpower and drive. Like he is an amazing natural athlete too, but it's like
yeah.
I'm going to go left field and say Russell Westbrook. He's an NBA guy, but he's about 6'3", 6'4", like a brick shithouse, can jump ridiculously high. If you'd got into him, put him through the juniors AFL system, him as a hybrid midfielder, forward guy, would be afraid.
What about like a peak Derek Rose Bush?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Very similar sort of athletic profiles, those two. Derek could probably be a bit more fluid, pick it up naturally, have a bit more of that like dribbly, crafty stuff, and Russ. Yeah, prime D Rose, I like that.
A couple of Swans boys celebrating Heaney with a bit of a fist pump. It is a great feeling when you go through to a grand final. There's something awesome about just being there, I think. That in itself is an achievement. Sometimes the grand final goes badly. I've been on both sides of it, but I think the feeling of this week's all about my team and one other. I love that. Seeing the Premiership Cup with the different coloured ribbons of both teams, it's just so special.
Not Sydney, please, not Sydney. Now that I see them celebrating, I'm just like, you've had enough. You've been there enough.
What about Geelong, though?
Yeah, that's why I want Lions, because Lions did the hard yards, right? They did their time at the bottom of the ladder. And they've kind of, I feel like they've like...
Oh, the Lions, Gryffindor.
That's what
it is. The Lions, Gryffindor, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'll be
not Sydney, Renee. Not Sydney, Renee. Better be Gryffindor.
I think a couple of other athletes I'd probably recruit at West Coast, Eddie Hall and Victor Crumb.
Yes. Victor Crumb, yeah. To be fair, Victor Crumb's like the best in the world and he's like 16 years
True.
old. That's very impressive, right?
Yeah.
Although he doesn't,
to
be fair, he fails on the big stage, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh no! Yeah. I was going to say he caught the snitch though.
Yeah, in the World Cup final he did. You're right. But when
another
really
honourable mention, Wembanyama as a ruckman would be ridiculous if you guys have seen Victor Wembanyama.
There we go. So that is full time this prelim final. And Sydney go to their second grand final in 3 years. How many grand finals have they made since 2012? So it's 12, 14, 16, 22, 24. That's 5 in the last 13 grand finals. That's fucked. That's actually nuts.
Yeah, they're probably the most consistent team, you'd say.
The Cats would be the other.
Yeah. But Sydney, that's more flags than Geelong in that span.
I think it might be even. Sydney's only won one of those grand finals and Geelong have won one since 2012.
Yeah.
And if you extend it to 2011, then Geelong go 2.
Yeah.
And Sydney did also dip down the ladder in that time, and Geelong missed finals in 15 and 23, but they never hit the bottom 4. Sydney did, I reckon.
Is Callum Mills going to play?
Don't know.
Is there whispers of him being close?
Just whispers, though. Barely audible.
Yeah. Man, imagine being Taylor Adams, like missed out at Collingwood, goes to Swans to get a game, and he's probably going to miss again.
Yeah. True. Heaney with 24 and 2, a very classic Heaney 2024 performance.
I was actually thinking I wouldn't mind Freo just taking Taylor Adams for on a 2-year contract, someone like him.
Just for the good version of him going to teams, them getting the grandies, and you don't necessarily have to be playing him.
Although
if North didn't get Parker, I'd say maybe at North, but they probably don't need both. That's probably overkill.
I was going to say Jaeger actually is he's like our Taylor Adams, isn't he? Basically.
Yeah, true, yeah. I think Richmond could probably do with Taylor Adams, actually.
He could still definitely play at most teams for sure.
Yeah.
He's just gone from literally the best team in 2023 to the best team in 2024.
Yeah. All right, boys, we might wrap that up, I reckon. It's been approaching 3 hours. Been good fun, as always. Sydney into their fifth grand final in about 12, 13 seasons, whatever that adds up to be. Unbelievable team. And hopefully tomorrow's prelim is, closer.
Fair.
Thank you very much, boys. We'll probably end the stream there, and we'll see everyone in the next one.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Catch you later.
Good to see you.